The main character was just a regular nerd. The girl wondered why he had gathered them all together so suddenly. Weren't they going to go hunting today? The guy replied that at first he wanted to collect as many rocks as possible, but his patience had run out. He is going to do it. It was time for the gacha. The life of the protagonist had changed after he played one game. It is a game about training beautiful maidens. A core of maidens. Most of the characters that can be obtained are girls. In just 6 months, it has already been downloaded over 10 million times. New characters are constantly being introduced into it. A lot of players are spending a huge amount of money, and he is one of them. The recently added girl is pretty cute, but he's already broke this month. As usual, the chance of falling out is extremely low. But Heihachi Okure, who has already spent hundreds of thousands, has nothing to fear. He's going after Luna-chan. He wanted his feelings to reach her. The guy came across a chest with a guaranteed very rare item. He was sure it was Luna-chan. But instead of the girl, an invitation to another world fell out of there. This was what was expected from a gacha. The last one left. He forgot to open the last drop and hopes it's not a magic card. The game explained that an invitation to another world is proof that he was invited to another world. Using it would transport him to another world. Heihachi suggested that it was a pass to the global server. That would be cool. He wondered what this item really was. It became very bright. The protagonist found himself in another place unknown to him. Pinching himself, he realized that this was not a dream. At first, the guy couldn't believe it. He doesn't know for sure if everything around him is real or not. He tried to calm himself down. First, he needs to find shelter. In such an open area, if some beast attacks him, it would be all over. There are likely to be snakes and leopards here. Turning around, Heihachi noticed something terrifying. Right in front of the hero was a goblin that rushed after him. The guy doesn't know what it is, but it's evil. Either way, he has to run. Out of fear, he climbed up a tree, trying to realize what it was. At least Heihachi was able to escape. To think that such creatures existed, it was as if this was another world. The guy remembered the invitation and realized that he really was in another world. He took out his cell phone from his pocket. Heihachi panicked as he couldn't get back to the home screen, but he managed to open the girl's case. What he saw shocked him. He was at the first level. He had no units or even items. Heihachi didn't understand what had happened and why almost everything was gone. He did his best to calm down. The guy thinks he shouldn't lose his phone. It's the only clue he has. But as a newcomer, he was given a guaranteed item. He got a lot of useful stuff and really couldn't help himself. Heihachi did not get Luna-chan. He also had an item that was not in the girl core. A book of languages appeared to help understand the language of another world. Using it can cause headaches. He wasn't fooled. His head did get a headache. But the boy realized it didn't matter. If the item appeared, then what about the units? Heihachi was offered to summon Norl, to which he agreed. Large sparks erupted directly from his phone. The girl in a helmet appeared next to him. But because the guy was sitting in a tree, she, originally floating in the air, fell from a height to the ground. It was too rough, even considering that he was her first master. It was too. Heihachi felt very sorry. The girl felt that it was much more important to tell her something to him. It might be a little difficult to understand. The guy started with an introduction. The girl complimented that he should be trained before introductions. The goblin that was here earlier was joined by several others and they attacked the guy together. She asked him to remain calm and to start by opening the item tab on his phone. Next, he should select a weapon and shield from the list. If he is done, in that case, they will begin training. The girl quickly dispatched her opponents. Heihachi didn't expect this from her. She informed him that the next move was his. The boy, facing the enemy, panicked and asked for help, but Norl was sure he could. He was unable to dodge the attack. Surprisingly, it didn't hurt at all. The girl said that even if he was attacked dozens of times, he would be fine. Heihachi defeated the goblin. The training is complete. The girl suggested returning to the performances. Her name is Norl. He can call her simply Norl. Heihachi fell silent, which worried her. The boy abruptly grabbed her cheeks, indignant that she didn't even let him prepare. And just like that, his new life in the world with the gacha had begun. Heihachi was very tired on the way. He noticed that Fanya was frisky. The boy thanked her for the armor, but he wasn't used to wearing it and felt like he was about to die. The girl agreed that he lacked stamina. It couldn't be helped. They had already reached the main road. They'll spend the night here tonight. In that case, she suggested applying the item. It was an ordinary camping kit that disappears after use, so it was environmentally friendly. Heihachi remarked that it was very convenient. Norl enthusiastically looked around the tent. As the guys sat around the fire, the guy wanted to ask her something. The girl wondered what he wanted to know. Heihachi asked what she knew about the situation. Norl told him that first, this world was different from where he came from. Second, she had been summoned to this world to help him. The boy wondered about this. He didn't understand how she knew he wasn't from this world. The girl explained that when they were called, they shared some of the master's experiences and memories. Heihachi asked about the duration of the summoning. Is it limited, like a marching draft? It turned out there was no time limit for conscripted units, but there is a limit to how many he can summon at once, depending on the cost. Right now, after summoning her, he wouldn't be able to summon any more. Heihachi realized that the cost system was the same as it was in the game. If his memory serves him correctly, his starting limit is 15 points, and Norl just takes 15 units. If the system is the same, then the limit should increase as the level increases. The girl turned to the master. In lieu of these questions, she suggested that he use the item. Norl was insanely excited about the upcoming meal. He was surprised that she was so excited. Of course she's excited. Food is one of the things she looks forward to. The boys got one random meal. After eating, the leftovers will turn to ashes and disappear. Norl didn't understand how it could be so delicious. Even Heihachi couldn't think that anything bearable would come out of Gacha. In any case, they should start looking for a safe place. It would be nice to find a wagon that could be used to get to the city, but most likely they won't be so lucky. Heihachi was sleeping a deep sleep when suddenly Norl walked in. She asked if he was awake. The guy thought they were on a shift change. She asked him not to answer her half asleep and to get up. Heihachi didn't understand why get up, it was still night. He imagined as if the girl was going to spend the night with him. Norl inquired how long he was going to be dumb. She heard a sound in the distance. In the same forest, monsters surrounded the camp. As the boys realized, they are under attack. There are even orcs among them. Heihachi thought if only the goblins were here, he could win, but he offered to help them. The goblins are on him, and the orcs are on Norl. Both joined the battle. The girl realized that alone she would barely have enough for 2 orcs. She asked the wizard to deal with the goblins as quickly as possible. The goblins couldn't handle him. When the guy was struck, he didn't feel pain, which made the job easier. The attacking humans noticed that his weapons were quite strong and watched the fight with great amazement. Heihachi thought that somehow this was unecological. Now he could help Norl. The girl sitting on the rock found that he had finished. This surprised him, for hadn't she said she would need help? They were weaker than she had thought. For that, he pinched her cheek. Heihachi apologized. He doesn't know why, but he enjoyed doing it. Instead of apologizing, she asked him not to do that. Last night the guys saved them. Monsters like that don't usually show up here. The guy turned to Norl. He asked her to carry him. The request seemed pathetic to her. He thought they would ride on the wagon, but something went wrong and out of place. She grabbed his arm and advised him to hurry or they would fall behind. The man rescued during the night can't believe it's the same guy who dealt with the goblins yesterday. The kid reports that they're almost there. They are about to reach Brunn, city of Brunn. Heihachi only received 10,000 coins, but still they got there safely. They were thanked for their help. The guy remembered that the dropped items could be sold in stores. He decided that this night he and Norl would stay at a fancy hotel. The girl was pinning her hopes on a good meal there. In the meantime, he offered to buy something. Walking around town, she discovered a yakitori shop. Heihachi thought, if it's a little, it's fine. It was good that he had some extra money, but unlike money, there was something more important. He was thinking about how he could get the magic stones he needed to play Gacha. Also, the protagonist could not find a place to exchange the magic stones. He really wanted to play Gacha and was frantically poking at his phone screen. 2 guests were welcomed at the inn. If they got 2 rooms for 4,000 coins would be charged. The amount voice scared Heihachi. He was going to save up some money. They would have almost nothing left. The receptionist supplemented that if they slept in the same room, it would be 3,000 coins. The guy was embarrassed at the thought of being in the same room alone with a girl. He asked for 2 rooms and no meals, but Norl resented this. She stated that she did not mind sharing 1 room. Heihachi tried to convey to her what that might mean. She wants to be together with Okiradono forever, from morning until evening. Then he asked for a room for 2. The guy realized that Norl just wanted to lower the lodging fee to enjoy a meal. The girl asked what he was looking at. Heihachi was checking their statuses. As Norl realized, something was wrong. Even though there's 1 level of difference between him and Norl, how could their stats be so different? Also, her equipment is too powerful. The girl was really proud of it. Heihachi thought these tethered effects were ridiculous. Something was clearly wrong with whoever came up with this. And compared to that, is it strong? Norl said that Escalibar also has a tethered effect. It has a golden glow during battle. Heihachi just wanted a real sword and shield. There was something he wondered. How would he charge his smartphone in this world? He didn't bring a charger. The girl informed him that there is no need to charge the phone here. The smartphone is charged by the magical essence hovering in the air of this world. It is something like his mana. Heihachi can ask her anything he wants to know. Then he asked how she could go back to his world. The girl didn't know. Next, the guy asked how he could get magic stones. This she did not know either. Heihachi made the mistake of relying on Norl. He suggested sleeping, but he wanted to ask something before. The question of who would take a shower came up. The guy might not be able to afford much, but Norl is a girl after all. At least that's what he said. A shower costs 300 coins per person. Before finding his way back to his world, he must first secure a stable source of income. It was suggested that they go to the Adventurers Guild if there were any money problems. He decided to check everything there tomorrow. Norl returned from her shower. It was such a nice bath. Heihachi noticed her nice curves. She has a pretty good body. The guy came to his senses when she said his name. He doesn't think she should go so far as to hide her face. Norl replied that a virgin shouldn't reveal her face so easily. The thought of this made him laugh, to which the girl took notice and resented. The next day, the adventurer's registration is now complete. Heihachi will be able to wash today too. They will go hunting since they have received the assignment. The boys have also received their adventurer's license. It's a plaque whose color determines rank. If it gets lost, you have to pay 1,000 coins to get a new one. He asked Norl not to break it. The guy's opinion of her didn't please the girl. They walked a little farther away from Brunn. This forest seems to be heavily populated by orcs and goblins. They didn't meet anyone for the first time, but that didn't last long. A large mob of mobs appeared out of nowhere. Izokuridono flying in the clouds. Norl declared that it was time to hunt. Monsters appeared in countless numbers. They seemed to have a spawning point in this forest. Something black appeared to Heihachi. It's a black orc. It's a rare species. The guy was surprised by its pressure. It is quite different from the others. With a light swing, Norl chopped off his head. She rejoiced at the black orc's meat, an excellent ingredient of the highest grade. It was supposed to be hard to kill since it was a rare species, but the girl was only thinking of black orc steak for dinner. Heihachi discovered something on his phone. It also attracted Norl's interest. He was shocked by the increase in the number of magic stones. But why so unexpected? Could it be that killing rare species also increases the number of magic stones, since the way to get magic stones is to kill monsters of different rarity? In that case, certainly. Until night falls, they will continue to hunt. It's been a few days since Heihachi became an adventurer. In order to obtain the magic stones needed to play Gacha, they hunted the black orcs every day. His adventurer rank also increased from G to E. Finally, the number of magic stones had reached 50. Heihachi Carnival opens. He wondered what kind of character he would get. Would he get Luna-chan? There's something Norl forgot to tell him. In this Gacha world, rare, super rare, and super rare are all items. He will only get a character when it is ultra rare or higher. Ultra rare can be characters and items, and rare, super rare, and super rare only items. Heihachi was excited that he would get an ultra rare character, but the girl complimented that it wasn't guaranteed. This was the second time since he came to this world. The guy felt great excitement and couldn't get enough of it. A white chest that was super rare fell out to him, but he wanted an ultra rare one and was going to buy another one. He couldn't. Why is there no purchase option here? This Gacha world is too unfair. Norl congratulated him on getting a super rare. It also had the weapon she wanted. Heihachi resented the fact that it was just an Excalibur. The system suggested that he combine the two weapons he had with the identical name, to which he agreed. There was no such thing in the Gacha. The guy realized that he had to replenish the number of magic stones to knock out the ultra rare one. He also had a useless item that was only valued for its appearance. Heihachi told Norl that he would give her something cool. The girl asked if the item had a special purpose, but after thinking about it, she confirmed the fact that the toy was cute. He suggested we start collecting magic stones again. The next day, the boys received an urgent request. It is about escorting the crew. It was an escort through the bistro's forest to the village of Rubelk. Heihachi had a question about what kind of place this bistro's forest was. It turned out to be a place with a lot of monsters, rare ones like black orcs that are quite common to be found there. It wouldn't be a problem if they have enough strength. Heihachi stated that they accept the assignment. The journey to Rubelk village will take about 2 days to get there on foot. This is his first expedition, but thanks to the Gacha subjects for being able to finalize all the arrangements. The group consists of only 3 people, since they had become adventurers after all. When the monsters show themselves, the D-rank adventurer green they had recently rescued would be counted on, just like that time with the orcs. Heihachi felt that it would be problematic if the man relied on them too much, but as long as Norl is here, everything should be fine. The girl at this time continued to admire the cute plush toy. While there aren't many people around, the boy decided to try something he got yesterday. This can be used to check the status of an individual. Still comparing the man's level, his stats are lower than expected. He didn't understand why they were different. Heihachi remembered that there was some kind of bonus by looking at a woman. He wondered what it could be. It turned out that there was an assessment of the size of her breasts. Norl immediately realized as if something was wrong and wanted to look too, but he was all kinds of reluctant. The boys continued on their way. They stopped when they heard a strange sound that was too loud for an orc's footsteps. A man running towards them was shouting for them to run away. A terrifyingly huge monster appeared. Judging by the presence of one horn and one eye, it was a freaking cyclops. Green said they should run away too. You need a rank C to kill it. Heihachi wasn't bothered by it since they had Norl. The guy analyzed that the monster has plenty of health. Its strength is also high. It will be problematic if the fight drags on and other monsters show up. He asked Norl about her readiness. The girl asked if it was normal to make such hasty decisions. She had an idea. The two left Green alone. The sneakers they used added to their protection and speed of movement. They moved straight toward the monster. Norl stopped in front of it. She activated the inspiration. All of Norl's stats doubled for 1 minute. Her strength is over 9,000. With that, even a cyclops should die from a single blow. Heihachi was surprised that he was still alive, but his health should be low. In that case, even a guy would be able to finish him off. He was already rejoicing, thinking that they had done it, but the monster at that moment suspiciously froze, which Norl had warned him about. The cyclops with all its might fell to the ground. The girl managed to save him. What she saw shocked Heihachi. Norl's true face was revealed. Finding no helmet on her head, Norl squealed. She ran away, not wanting Heihachi to look at her. The boy handed her the helmet. The girl felt great shame and got ready to go home. Heihachi put his hand on her and apologized, whereupon she screamed. Norl felt great pain. She, feeling pain all over her body, pulled away from him. But she was not even hit. What could this mean? Could it be a side effect of the skill? In any case, the fact that Norl can't move is pretty bad. They should hurry to Green-san. Heihachi helped her get situated in the tent and left her there just to calm down and rest for a while. The guy apologized for the incident that happened to her face. She replied that it was not Okiradono's fault. He wondered why she wanted to hide her face so badly. It's okay if she doesn't want to tell him, but he'd like to know if possible. It was better for him to know, in case something happened in the future. Norl said it would be bad if her face was seen. He needs more details. She admitted that she can't move normally if she knows someone sees her face. She feels awkward and cannot maintain a strong tone when she speaks. Heihachi was surprised that the tone of her voice is so important. She stated that it is important because it is part of a knight's personality. But it was good that the one who saw her was Okiradono. She means someone like her looks strange, right? But if it's Okiradono, she knows, he would just guffaw. He thought that somehow Norl was very feminine today. Heihachi was surprised to see her face, but he thought it was lively. The guy immediately regretted blabbing what he was thinking and asked her to forget about it. The sobbing girl clung to him, declaring that she would follow him for the rest of her life. Heihachi warned her of what would happen if she jumped on him like that. Norl immediately pulled away, feeling the pain. That's why he told her to calm down. The next day, Norl made a full recovery. The rest of the trip went without incident. They managed to reach the village of Rubulk safely. The mission was completed. Heihachi received notification. He stated that they were returning to Brunn right away. Instead, time to discuss strategy. Norl inquired about the strategy in question. He showed her a phone screen with a promotion about double summoning ultra-rare characters. The girl was not surprised since it was just a promotion, but he explained that it doubles the chance of dropping ultra-rare characters. The promotion will last for 10 days after it starts. With this promotion, he could get 2 ultra-rare characters if he tried 100 times. They should aim for 50 magic stones per day, which shocked her. Norl said that they usually collected 5 a day. Heihachi admitted it was true that even if they hunted for 10 hours a day, they would only get 10 or a little more. However, he would increase their efficiency so that they could harvest 50 stones a day. Thanks to a delightful idea thought up by Heihachi. Now he would tell her the plan. She will follow him for the rest of her life, right? He doesn't want to hear any objections, which frightened her. The first day of magic stone gathering. Outside the usual hunting grounds deep in the forest, the boys learned how monsters appear and where their spawn point is. This is what Heihachi was looking for. They usually hunt in places far away from the spawn point, and they lose time between encounters. But if the guys fight near the spawn point, they could encounter more monsters in a short time. They could increase their effectiveness by meeting more monsters in a short time, because Norl can kill them with a single blow. Heihachi decided that they were heading to the next one, who told her that they would only hunt at one spawn point. They would lose time while they waited, wouldn't they? She should think more efficiently. Obviously, it's better to accumulate more spawn points. They've only found 5 spawn points. The hunt seems to be going well, but the girl was not happy about another encounter with orcs. She's getting bored already on the first day. Heihachi realized that this plan couldn't work without Norl. The guy begged her to keep fighting. She's the only one he can ask. Once they were done, he would listen to her every wish. After saying that, she still decided to do it. So, the 10-day marathon of hunting black orcs had begun. So, it had already been 6 days. Day 7. For Norl, killing orcs had become a daily routine. She couldn't go a second without wiping out an orc. The girl's behavior began to strain Heihachi. On the 8th day, she was still as crazy about the black orcs. The guy asked her to pull herself together, they're still in town. And it's a human, she's being rude. She couldn't live a second without the thought of destroying the orcs. Heihachi suggested she go back to the inn. She fell asleep. The Black Orc Marathon was mentally challenging after all. Even in her sleep, she kept saying that she had to kill the orcs. 2 days left, and there are still 105 more stones to go. The pace is gradually dropping. But more importantly, Heihachi can't ask Norl to do the impossible. The guy realized that this is their limit. The boys set out again for the magic stones, but with a change in plan. Today is the penultimate day, so Heihachi will start hunting. He'll go to another spawn zone, while Norl can just continue as usual. The girl thought it was dangerous for him to go alone. He explained that if they both hunted, it would lessen the burden on Norl. It was the only option if they wanted to reach their goal in 2 days. Then they proceeded with the plan. Even if Heihachi said so, still, going alone is scary. Right behind him was a black orc that he fought. So, the last day of the campaign, they finally reached the 500 stone mark. And now the long-awaited Heihachi carnival is open. He got 11 chances in 10 tries. He couldn't wait to see which girl would appear. The first attempt had been a failure, but the boy consoled himself that they had 9 more ahead of them. On his second and third tries, he got the best super rare items. The guys were confident that after such an ultra rare character would definitely appear. Fourth attempt, he got the super rare one, which was expected. Originally, Heihachi had expected about 2 ultra rare ones to appear. With that amount, he shouldn't be upset. But on both his 5th, 6th, and 7th attempts, he received super rare items. Norl offered to take a break, but the guy replied that he was fine. The 8th attempt turned out to be the same. He kept saying it was still within the expected range. There are only 2 attempts left. There's just no way to knock out an ultra rare character. No, there are still 2 attempts. Heihachi really hoped it would be an ultra rare character, but he became furious when it turned out that he had gotten the best super rare items again on the 9th try. Shouldn't the chance of falling out have doubled? Norl tried to reassure him that there was still 1 try left. She's rooting for him. Heihachi realized that just for the sake of the Gacha, they had done everything they could in the last 10 days. And for the sake of Norl, who had helped him, he must. When the boy saw the same picture, he went crazy. Heihachi didn't understand what he was fighting for. How could it end like this? He lacked faith in the Gacha. If possible, he would like to go back to that time before he started playing Gacha. He wanted his magic stones back. Norl said that today was unlucky, but they would do well next time if they tried hard. The girl noticed that there were 6 more magic stones. Isn't he going to whip out more? The guy replied that it was impossible to get an ultra rare character with 1 try. Then she decided to try it herself. He also had moments like that when it started. He started going crazy just for the ultra rare ones. Heihachi thought he should reflect on it. Norl happily announced the appearance of an ultra rare character, something Heihachi certainly couldn't have expected. He, sobbing with happiness, clung to the girl. He was offered to summon Estelle. In the forest, Norl asked if he was going to summon her. The guy found out that even among the ultra rare characters, she is a strong mage and seems quite nice. But her personality, the girl asked not to worry, she's here too after all. Heihachi agreed with her and summoned Estelle. Norl remarked that it was rather enviable to be summoned right on the ground. The guy's really sorry for that time. A beautiful girl appeared before them. She realized that she had been summoned. Heihachi introduced them. After the girl's silence, he asked her to introduce herself too. But she replied that they already knew who she was, didn't they? About her. Isn't that wonderful? Both of them didn't expect to hear such a thing. Heihachi thinks she wants to go with them. The girl asked why. Is there some benefit of joining her brother? The guy didn't realize if it was even possible that she wouldn't join him. There is no turning back now. No, he can't back out here. He replied that she would join them in the monster hunt. The girl interrupted him saying that he was cute. It was just a little joke. She will join them as the brother is quite interesting. Anyway, she asked the little brother to take care of her. The Gachai's action was announced. Norl and Heihachi survived a marathon orc hunt and then a beating from the Gachai. Thus, their group of 2 members. Guy introduced Estelle to the guild administrator as the newest member of their group. She is the resulting additional member. Like the girl said, she didn't mind being in the same room. Norl doesn't mind either, but Heihachi has enough money, so each gender should have a separate room. The girls thought the fact that he would get a private room was not fair at all. Estelle would have liked a room for 3. She didn't see it as a big deal and asked Heihachi if he was okay with it. Of course, he wouldn't mind being in the same room with 2 cute girls. He might never have that chance again. But still, a man in the same room with women. Estelle suggested that it would interfere with. Heihachi thought that this puppy dog look must be illegal and replied that he didn't mind it. Estelle would make him regret worrying before summoning her. The boy didn't realize what it was. The girl replied that she was just looking forward to them sharing the same room. She admired Norl's hair, who asked her to stop rubbing her hair. Estelle knew that this hairstyle would look cute and suggested that the mask be removed. Norl was totally against it, and Estelle asked her not to be stubborn. Heihachi was glad that they got along with each other. He was a little worried before calling on her, but it seems that his worries were in vain. Likewise, he finished checking the other items he had knocked out in the gacha. He should take this opportunity to check Estelle's stats. Using his phone, the guy analyzed her abilities. As expected of a mage, she has a lot of mana but little defense. But her ultra-rare equipment is cheating as usual. Heihachi also analyzed her size. He wasn't happy when he found out that she was a size 1. The guy pretended as if he didn't see it. Estelle immediately noticed something wrong. Heihachi hid his phone in a hurry. At this rate she would see the screen. It's really bad. Frightened, he said he was looking at the items he had knocked out in the gacha. The excitement even made him sweat. The girl doubted that it was true. Then Estelle sat down, after which she hugged him. She remarked that he was surprisingly well built. Heihachi was embarrassed that she was doing something like this. Estelle assumes he has some sort of complaint. She tells him to sit quietly and obey since she ignored his actions earlier. Norl notices that they are having fun without her. Estelle offers to join in. It looks like Okuradono is in trouble, so she will join too. For not helping her earlier, Heihachi asked her to stop. Estelle asked where they were going now, but he didn't answer. After everything that had happened during the night, he couldn't sleep at all. His silence annoyed Estelle. He thinks they should go to the Adventurers Guild first. They should register Estelle. All the adventurers present paid attention to them. Guy didn't understand why everyone was staring at them today. The receptionist greeted them. Heihachi explained that she had joined their group today and he wanted to register her as an adventurer. As the administrator realized the girl was a mage, which he confirmed. The administrator was shocked. Recovering, she handed them the forms. Norl wondered if mages were so rare. The administrator replied that this was the first time she had met one. It was embarrassing. Now that Heihachi thought about it, he didn't remember seeing any in the city. The administrator told him that most of them had joined the royal army, so when they're in a group, they're at least a rank. Estelle noticed that there were more and more stares staring at them. She was handed a plaque. The girl did not like the fact that her brother's plaque and hers were different colors. He reasoned that it was because they were E rank when she only had a G rank. The administrator couldn't make hers the same rank either, because those are the rules. Heihachi felt a little sorry for her. Estelle was upset that she was the only one left out. Everyone continued to stare at them. The men were angry that the guy made her cry. Heihachi suddenly thought that if it was her, she would get E rank in the blink of an eye. They would help too. Estelle offered to take the assignment right now. In order to get the E rank faster, she would blow everyone up. They're a little scared that she's serious about it. It's a little problematic that she can't become rank E before she gets rank F. Such are the rules. Estelle inquired about Heihachi's appearance. The guy replied that he got a bunch of gacha stuff, so that improved the quality of his gear. Norl thought the armor stood out too much, but it couldn't be helped. Stats were more important. The girls thought he looked more intellectual with glasses on. However, he doesn't wear glasses to look smarter. With them, he can look at his phone screen and no one will notice. He could also estimate the size of girls. Heihachi and Norl couldn't wait to see Estelle use magic. By this point, the monsters had suddenly appeared. The girl decided that perhaps she should demonstrate to them then. It's time to see the full power of Estelle. The girl was the first to attack the monsters. This blow left all of them decapitated. She asked for the opinion of the others. Norl stated that it was just ridiculous. It seemed to Heihachi that was not what she had to say. The guy inquired if she had any weak spells. It turned out that it was already one of the weakest wind spells. Then she decided to use another. Her next attack also pierced the monster's bodies. She just squeezed the water and shot it out. Norl thinks something will definitely happen. Now Estelle wanted to go full blown. The guys realized they were going to get caught in the explosion and asked not to. Heihachi realized that this was the power of magic, eliminating groups of enemies from afar. Not to mention that Estelle has considerable firepower. With Norl and Estelle, their team has a lot of power. So Estelle became F rank, which they congratulated her on. She suggested that they start the E-class task right now, but Heihachi decided that they would do it next time. He had an idea. Why don't they go to Sting right now? Sting is the royal capital. The last time he was in the store he heard something interesting. The guy asked if the man could buy it all from him. All this, plus 2 more sacks. If the merchant could, he would buy it all from him. But the limit of his store is 4 sacks. Since they are hunting so much, why don't they go to Sting? There are plenty of stores there that would buy everything from them. There's also a dungeon there. He revealed that it was a strange dungeon near the capital, supposedly filled with rare monsters, and is said to be filled with treasures. After thinking about the rare monsters, Heihachi realized that he could get a ton of magic stones. However, the merchant had heard that even C rank had a hard time there. Right now, Heihachi was at the E rank. Although it was interesting, the guy should gain more strength before heading there. As for this dungeon, with the inclusion of Estelle in their team, exploring the dungeon should be possible. The girl herself doesn't mind. The capital is probably full of clothing stores and all sorts of cute things. Norl is also fine with it. There should definitely be delicious food in the capital. Their goals aren't the same, but this way Heihachi will be able to get more magic stones. They made the decision to start heading to Sting right away. The parking lot of the wagons heading to Sting. Heihachi prepared the wagon. It looks like they'll be traveling along with other people. It's going to be a bit crowded. They have no choice but to put up with it. And so, the wagon carrying them left Brunn. The journey to the royal capital of Sting will pass through various villages and will take 10 days. So, a few days after departure, the wagon ride made the boys bored. Heihachi suggested playing rock, scissors, paper, but that would quickly get boring. Estelle was concerned about Norl's condition. The girl was not feeling well. She stated that she wanted to go home, but it did not seem as if they had a home to return to. The boys noticed that she had been so enthusiastic before the journey began. Estelle suggested she let it all out. Maybe she would feel better after all. But Norl thought that was unacceptable for a lady. She felt nauseous again. Heihachi asked in a hurry if Estelle had a nauseous spell. The girl replied that restorative magic was not her specialty, but she would take care of it. She felt that putting her to sleep should calm her down. Heihachi thought it was too much. They noticed something strange from the window. A Minotaur appeared outside. Heihachi was worried whether these guys would be alright. The accompanying adventurers are supposedly C rank, but it will be too late if the guys start acting up when something happens, so it's worth helping them. He looks weaker than the cyclops. He asked Estelle to wake up Norl. The girl called her sleeping pills excellent. He won't be able to wake her by conventional methods. Since there is no choice, then he uses the panacea obtained from the Gacha. Immediately after Norl woke up, he informed her to join the battle. The boys bravely set off toward the battle site. Estelle wondered whether she should split up completely. The people they saved from the battle were surprised at the ease with which Norl wounded the Minotaur. Nor did anyone expect to see Estelle's magic. Norl decided that they had to get out of here. Heihachi told the boys that they had better get out of here. Meanwhile, Estelle gave the monster a crushing blow. The result was a massive explosion. The girl thought so. This feeling of magic is excellent. Heihachi discovered that Estelle is not like Norl. Her style is rather gloating. A few days after the Minotaur attack, the wagon in which they were traveling reached the royal capital, Sting. At last they arrived at the royal capital. Heihachi wished he could go to the Adventurers Association right now, but Norl was still nauseous. If it was too much for her, then she could go rest at the inn with Estelle. The girl replied that she was fine and couldn't leave Okiradono alone. After saying that, she could not keep her balance. Heihachi asked her to drink a potion. It should help her. Norl liked the taste of it. Still, she had worked hard the past few days. Sting City Adventurers Association. Heihachi reported that they were from Brunn. The receptionist asked to borrow a sign for a second. Estelle said they had to register too, but it seems each association works with different quests. To start, the administrator reissues the paperwork. After examining the team's data, she was surprised to see a mage among them. The administrator apologized for exclaiming she would register them right away. They can take today's quests. The other adventurers made a fuss about it too. Heihachi thinks there's nothing to be done about it. Norl thinks it's not only because Estelle is a mage, but also because she looks just gorgeous. The girl asked not to be flattered. One of the adventurers approached her. Estelle was surprised that he was speaking to her. The guy's name is Dejus. He is the leader of a group of rank B adventurers. The behavior of the shining scoundrel did not please Heihachi. Dejus just heard that she's a mage. If she doesn't mind, he offers to join his group. Heihachi reports that she is now in their group. Dejus has never heard of a mage joining an E-rank group before. Besides, she looks quite young. He tricked her into joining his group. Also, judging from that cool outfit, Heihachi doesn't even look like a real adventurer. She should ditch this guy's group. If Estelle joins Deus' group, he will quickly raise her to B rank. It will also be the best choice for her future. The girl must admit, quite an enchanting offer. Heihachi decided that she had indeed agreed, but she will refuse. Still, she's not interested in him. Estelle has become adventurous because she wants to be with her brother forever. These words touched Heihachi. He feels guilty for doubting her. The girl complimented that these two are much stronger than Deus. Why should she move to a group that is weaker? Heihachi felt awkward after saying that and apologized for her. Estelle feels resentment after hearing him insult her little brother. She hates the Jews. The boy decides she must be just kidding. Then how about getting together in a duel? If they win, Estelle will join their group. If the guys win, the Jews will listen to any requests she has. The girl was about to agree, but Heihachi prevented her from saying so. He knelt down and admitted that he was sorry for everything that had happened. Heihachi asked that his comrades not be taken away. Everyone didn't understand what he was doing. The guy thought that there was no way he could use Estelle as a bet. He hoped the Jews would forgive them for that. It was for Estelle's sake, for the sake of his precious comrade. Only then can he let others step on him. If it's just idle chatter, the Jews can let it pass his ears. But to be humiliated in front of so many people, he realized. Heihachi offered to bet 1,000,000 gil instead. The Jews thought he was joking. There was no way an E-rank like Heihachi could have 1,000,000 gil. The guy let him know that he had that amount. Deus agreed. He would accept the duel for Heihachi's honor. He also had something he wanted to tell him. The news that the guy had announced a duel here would spread all over the city by tomorrow. Here, a duel of adventurers. It's a fitting event for a town like this. Estelle felt guilty, but Heihachi assured her that she shouldn't worry about it. He already has the urge to answer him, but that didn't change her mind in any way. Heihachi asked her not to make that face. That way she spoils her pretty face. She called the phrase trivial. Heihachi is painfully aware of this fact, and he asked not to say that. She noticed that he was so honest. Norl thought that even so, it was crazy that after all Kiradona wasn't mad at him. But it turned out the guy was still mad at him. Heihachi had already checked his status. He might be losing to Deus in pure stats, but if you count equipment as well, then he's stronger. Even considering his comrades, as long as he has Norl and Estelle, they can't lose. They will definitely win in their duel with him. On the day of the battle, Heihachi was frightened by the tens of thousands of spectators present here. He did not understand how he should fight in front of them. The host addressed the audience. He announced that the duel between the adventurer Deus and the adventurer Okura Heihachi was about to begin. Deus was surprised that Heihachi did not escape. At least he would praise him for that. He advised him to just try not to humiliate himself. Heihachi would see how big the difference between B rank and E rank was. Someone suddenly hit him on the head with a fist. A girl in his group called Dejus a jerk. Even though he does it because of his selfishness, he still wants to give him trouble. The girl is sorry that their leader caused them trouble. Deus was angered by Migeru's actions, but the girl stood by the fact that it was all because of him. Heihachi realized that they were from Deus's group. The guy stated that he only wanted to save this deceived girl and asked her about joining their group. Migeru wasn't going to listen to him. She was sorry that it had turned into such a hype. If they won, they would return the money they had bet. As Heihachi realized, they would reset the bet they had placed on this duel to 0. If they lose, she asked to accept the reward. Heihachi thinks they think his group has no chance of winning. Dejus notices a ring that Estelle did not have previously. It turns out that her little brother gave it to her. It was their wedding ring. But that's not what the guy meant when he gave it to her. After hearing this, Dejus expressed his regret. He would never have thought that they had such a relationship. Heihachi tried to make it clear that it was a misunderstanding. Even so, Dejus can't lose in this duel. He will fight seriously. Heihachi didn't understand why she was saying that. Now they'll think he's a pervert who proposed to a little girl. They'll spread rumors about Estelle too. But the girl didn't mind that people would think of them that way. What's more, she thinks, so he won't try to invite her back to his group again. Didn't it end well? It looks like the battle is starting. First, Deju's group enters the arena. As expected, Deus's group is very popular. His team consists of a warrior, a tank, an archer, and a priest. Such a well-balanced group. The guys paid attention to his popularity. Still, he's handsome. In this duel, they will face the C-rank monster, Ogros. Time limit until all the sand falls to the bottom of the hourglass. The team that can beat the fastest will be the winner. Estelle was surprised that they wouldn't fight directly in a duel. After all, battles between adventurers are forbidden. Looks like their preparations are complete. So, the destruction of the ogre has begun. The tank was the first to come forward with its powerful shield. The tank defends, the priest assists while the archer and warrior attack. A dense style of combat centered on fighting as a group. A sonic blade was used against the enemy. Its Deus sends deadly attack. Estelle is bored watching this and there's no way she can wait for it to end. Norl also thinks they lack attack power. Deju's group has finished destroying. On the first line, as expected from a B-ranked group, Heihachi thinks it will take about 10 minutes, unlike Estelle who thinks they can do it much faster. Deju's proudly declared that it was the power of a B-rank group. Could they destroy it at the same speed? He wasn't sure if they could destroy it at all. He received another fist strike. Meguru didn't like this. She apologized once more to the boys. The announcer announced the transition to the second team and the exit of Okura Heihachi's group. They didn't seem to be popular at all. After all, they had only just arrived in Sting. The guy was intimidated by the environment in which they would fight. The audience was confident that they would lose quickly. At least they would have a small battle. The mage should just go to Deuce's group. Heihachi thinks no one here thinks they can defeat this ogre. Instead, people might be expecting that they, the ones who started the dispute with Deju's, will lose terribly. For some reason, his stomach hurt. The girls supported him. After all, he has them. There's no way he can lose. Norl offered to surprise everyone here. Moreover, Estelle showed him the ring. Heihachi thinks about sorting the things he got from the Gacha to prepare for the battle with Deju's. Then everyone on the team got something new. The destruction had begun. Heihachi decided that Norl should take the ogre's attack and stop it, and Estelle would fire a volley after he finished helping her. The boys proceeded to execute the plan. How could this happen? The host was surprised that the ogre that was supposed to attack was thrown into the air. Now it was Heihachi's turn. The guy made the finishing blow. The destruction is complete. Now it's time to award 1 million gil to the winner. Heihachi saw that the girls could be relied upon. Even he didn't have to do anything. In public, Deus admitted that they had lost and handed him the bag of winnings. He also added that it seemed that what she had said was true. He apologized for his rudeness. Heihachi was reassured that everything ended up fine. They ended this duel with a handshake. Deju's offered to get along from then on. Heihachi noticed that he was not sincere. Both of them showed hatred for each other by clenching their hands harder. The girls didn't understand what those two were doing there. In a way, they really are alike. The day after the duel with Deju's, Estelle advanced to the E rank. Heihachi sighed heavily. The girls inquired about the reason why he was sighing so much even though Estelle had gotten E rank. Heihachi realized how weak he was. It was hard for him to fight monsters today. Until now, he had been useless in all battles. The girls think that Okura just lacks experience. After all, he was just an ordinary person. The boy replied that it wasn't just that. They hadn't been doing that lately. Norl inquired what he meant by that. Heihachi is talking about Gacha. It's been a long time since he went into the Gacha after Estelle, and because they didn't hunt monsters normally, he only has 2 magic stones. He will be at a disadvantage if the action starts in such a situation. Turning to Norl, he said that it seems to be the time to collect magic stones, but the girl, taking Estelle with her, rushed away. She told her that they were running away, but suddenly something prevented them. Suddenly Norl was right in front of Heihachi. She didn't understand why he was here. The guy had assumed that something like this could happen, so he had placed a beacon. With this item, he could teleport a member of his group to the place where the item was placed. Heihachi suggested that they start collecting magic stones. He held Norl down with the power bracelet, but she continued to resist as she didn't want to do it again. Estelle inquired about the reason why she was so against it. Heihachi suggested that Norl imagine what would happen if the campaign started when he had no magic stones. If she didn't start now, she would only make things worse for herself. Their level would increase while they were collecting magic stones. Also, they will get new equipment from the Gacha, hence his lack of strength will also be solved. Isn't it an excellent plan? Estelle noticed that it made sense. Norl didn't like that she was agreeing with him. The guy put his hand on her shoulder and said that she must be tired, so suggested that he start collecting magic stones tomorrow. He asked Estelle to put her to sleep. It must be hard for her. Estelle was also surprised that Norl was so scared. even though she had planned to go easy on her this time. Heihachi reported that in order to obtain 25 magic stones per day, they only needed to kill about 600 monsters, which confused the girl. Estelle offered to talk for a while. Heihachi tried for a long time to get Norl to forgive. Estelle was also sorry for forcing her to sleep. Norl held no grudge against her, which angered him. Norl stated that it was all Okuradono's fault to begin with, but there was nothing that could be done about it. They're going to collect magic stones, right? She had already given up to escape. Estelle calmed her down. He was saying something absurd like hunting 600 monsters a day, so she talked to him a little. Heihachi said that he was really sorry for what happened. It was amazing how Estelle was able to persuade Okuradono. Heihachi thought about going to some hunting place. They will use a magic carpet to move around today. The new item fascinated the girls. Estelle doubted that he could handle it. The boy thought it was rude. Despite his appearance, he has a driver's license. They hit the road. North Cave. Here the boys were met by countless monsters. They used one weapon against all of them at once. It's much easier than killing them one by one. Still, hunting using area attacks is great. Moreover, the rare monsters living here might have great defense, but they don't have magic resistance. So, using magic area attacks works well here. The first one aggroes and kites them while the others kill them after they pile up. This is the most efficient and mana-saving way. However, thinking about Norl, there is a disadvantage to this spot. Normally, because they don't attack, Norl and Heihachi would be the ones to kite them. But these scorpions are poisonous. That might be okay for Norl since there are Raki, but he can't neutralize the poison, so they make her do it herself. The girl declared that this man is a demon after all. He leaves it all on her again. The guy asked her to calm down, they wouldn't hunt here. He can't let Norl take the whole burden. They are going to the next place. After that, they left the North Cave and went to the next hunting place, Western Forest. The monsters look disgusting. Rejected. Eastern Hunting Ground. They have high magic resistance. Rejected. Still, no place is as effective as the Northern Cave. They should look for new places. Norl decides that if there is no better option, then she doesn't mind kiting alone. She means kiting in the North Caves. Heihachi asked what happened since she was against it. She shouldn't force herself. Norl replied that she doesn't force herself. The girl doesn't want to be the cause of trouble because of her selfishness. Moreover, Okuradono seems to be paying attention to her too. Then he will accept her proposal. Besides, they're not in a hurry or anything, so she can tell him when she gets tired. Norl wondered how Estelle talked him into it. He's so kind, it's scary. The girl replied that it was a secret. Thinking back on it, the boy felt fear. He replied that it was definitely not because of the punishment from Estelle. He was asked to look forward as he led the way. The boys continued to fight the monsters. This is the 35th magic stone today. Heihachi was worried whether Norl could handle the poison needle. The girl replied that she was fine, and her level had increased a lot. Estelle wanted him to pay attention to someone who continuously used magic as well. It becomes kind of gloomy since they are in the cave for a long time. Heihachi thinks it is, but the hunt is so effective, he can't stop. Suddenly the guy discovered something. The Gacha festival has begun. The long-awaited. The third Heihachi carnival was open. Norl decided that he was going to run into another bad omen if he kept calling it that. Estelle noticed that her brother seemed to lack luck after all. The kid thinks he's going to restrain himself. This time, they'll pull out 11 rare in a row in 5 times. Likewise, he'll let Norl and Estelle pull out 2 each. Norl was touched by Okuradono's decision to restrain himself. She thinks he's grown up. Estelle asked if it was true nothing that he would only pull out once. Heihachi was sure that one time was enough for a chosen one like him to pull out the highest rarity. Immediately afterward, he added that he was joking. They both worked hard for this, so he thinks it's okay if they pull out more than him. The first to draw out is Norl, who was kind of uncomfortable with it. Well, still, last time Heihachi only pulled out 11 rare in a row for 10 times. Moreover, if they get trashed, the guy thinks they'll understand how he feels. At that moment, the girl exclaimed that she had done it. As expected, she really got lucky. Heihachi was shocked that she had knocked out 2 super rare ones in one go. Now it's Estelle's turn. She's worried for some reason. The girl also knocked out a super rare. The guy consoled himself that this time super rare wasn't that hard to get. Norl and Estelle have both already knocked out 2 each, but still no ultra rare. But come to think of it, they had both knocked out a super rare. Heihachi hoped that he wouldn't take out the super rare. He must believe in himself. Then the guy will show them luck in Gacha from the chosen one. He knocked out a guaranteed ultra rare rainbow chest. Heihachi was pleased with himself. He might be trying to appear indifferent. Norl is willing to bet that inside he's screaming like a madman. Estelle noticed that he couldn't stop smirking. Heihachi pretended as if he didn't hear them. It was time to see the contents of the chest. Inside was the Rigi Erythra, an exclusive weapon for Norl. But they already have one of those. From such a surprise, the expression on Heihachi's face changed drastically. Norl was frightened, for she had done nothing wrong. Estelle asked him not to blame her for it, but the guy hadn't said anything yet. His face was scaring the girls. Heihachi's gaze went to the phone. Both wrapped their arms around his hands on both sides. Didn't he say that they would only strike out 5 times this time? So what is his hand trying to do? The guy replied that he wasn't trying to strike out again, just asking him to let it go. Norl has faith in him. He asked why she wouldn't let him go then. The girl believes he will definitely strike out again if they let him go. Then he offered to do it together. There's no way Heihachi will give up now. The next one will definitely be ultra rare too. He asked to let him draw out the gacha. The girls finally let him go. Having gotten this far, Norl thinks nothing can be done. The boy is sorry for that. He can't beat the temptation of the gacha. The guys pressed the screen at the same time. Heihachi received the holy scaly cape. The guy was very happy about it. The girls think his persistence won this time. At night, everyone rested peacefully. Suddenly Heihachi found Estelle lying next to him. The girl realized that he had noticed her. She always wanted to sleep with her little brother like this. She's getting lonely fast. Heihachi wanted to call out to Norl, but the girl gagged him. She didn't like the fact that he was trying to wake up Norl. The guy asked her to stop messing around and go back to her bed. It surprises her that he's still pushing her away even though she's gotten this far. Estelle just wanted to sleep together this night. Heihachi agreed. It's hard for him to refuse her when she asks like that. He thinks just sleeping together is no problem. Suddenly they are discovered together by Norl. Her sudden appearance startled them. She grabbed Estelle. Norl asked her not to disappear like that again. Estelle felt good to be hugged. The girl was upset, for she had only just gotten to the most interesting part. Today was a day off. They were non-stop monster hunting, so Heihachi thought it would be nice to spend it. Norl is happy about the day off, but in truth, she doesn't know what to do. Heihachi suggests that they both go shopping. They can take this. The bag contained 5 gold coins, that is, 500,000 gil, which shocked the girls. He would give them more if it was not enough but asked them not to waste it. He will not go with them. He has something to do so they can both have fun. Estelle wanted to know what he would do. Heihachi reported his meeting with the Jews. The girls were surprised that he was going to meet this guy. It seems that the materials knocked out of the stingers they were hunting are quite popular among adventurers. The Jews begged to be allowed to buy these materials, so the girls can just take a walk today. He leaves Norl to Estelle. Norl didn't know where they would go. Estelle was surprised that she didn't think of anything, even though she excitedly ran ahead. She suggested that they go into this store. Norl thinks she still has enough clothes. Even if she says so, Estelle noticed all they have is just plain clothes. That way her brother won't start treating her like a girl. It sounded a little unpleasant to Norl. The girls went shopping. The counselor, upon seeing the girls, changed her face and asked them to take their time. Estelle thinks it's because of Norl's outfit. The girl didn't understand what was wrong with it. Estelle didn't like her mask. She offered to spend the day picking out clothes for her. Norl thought she was fine with this outfit as well. Estelle suddenly opened the fitting room, startling the girl. Norl was not at ease. Estelle thinks it suits her. She decided she'd better take that mask off. Norl was going to change back in a hurry. Estelle offered to lift it up a little. She had never seen her face. She would like to see it just once. Anyway, it's just her here. Norl hesitantly agreed. She showed her face without the mask. Estelle, seeing it for the first time, was very surprised. Norl was embarrassed by her silence. Estelle finally said that her clothes looked very good on her. She didn't realize that Norl was so pretty. Even her manner of speech changed. She asked if her brother had seen her. The girl replied that only once had he looked at her. Estelle thinks he was surprised. Norl thought so, too. At that moment, she was crying and he was comforting her, so she couldn't see his eyes. But, even after he saw her face and heard the change in her way of speaking, he still talked to her normally. That made her happy. Norl saw that something was wrong with Estelle. The girl noticed that it had been a little while, but Norl was already used to talking like this, since Estelle had mentioned. Norl doesn't feel uncomfortable talking to her. Estelle offered to go outside like this, but Norl abruptly refused and immediately put on a mask. As expected, she feels much better this way. Still, she put it on. From now on, Estelle offered to practice showing her face, but Norl doesn't feel any problem. Suddenly the girl noticed something. She stated that they were going to this store. They came to a place where a pleasant odor was coming from. It turned out that Norl had led Estelle to the candy store. The girl could not resist the sweets. Estelle noticed that she was so cute without the mask, although it's so much like Norl. Meanwhile, Dejus was surprised that Heihachi had brought such heavy bags alone, even though he had actually put them in his magic bag. Having defeated Deus's group by hunting stingers every day, the E-ranked group led by Okura, rumors of them quickly spread throughout the association. The association wanted them to raise their rank. It wasn't because of any problems, it was just that their group's accomplishments reached the head of their association. He demanded that such a strong group not be allowed to stay at the E rank forever. Heihachi thought that they might have gotten them into trouble. He asked if the girls would mind taking the promotion task today, to which they agreed. Norl will go anywhere as long as it's not the North Cave. Heihachi informed the administrator that they were taking the assignment. Thus, they accepted the assignment from the association. It seems that the minimum criterion for entering the dungeon is rank C. Heihachi suggested that they raise their rank to C. Norl had completely forgotten about the existence of dungeons. They had all forgotten about them. The task of upgrading to rank D. They set out to destroy the frogmen. This is where the frogs live. They could easily get dirty here. Norl leaned into the swamp as suddenly a monster's head emerged from it. He seemed really cute to her. Heihachi didn't like that she was dangling in the clouds again. The girl declared that she wasn't dangling in the clouds. Estelle agreed that they were unexpectedly cute monsters. The boy, on the other hand, thought they were rather creepy. Tadpoles are pretty weak. Heihachi began to think about what they should do. He really doesn't want to get into the swamp. Estelle suggested freezing him, but Heihachi explained that if they did that, the monsters wouldn't be able to appear. He would give up the dropped items. The guy instructed Estelle to blow up the swamp. She became inflamed. The girl struck the swamp. It was great. This book is incredible. She got a good subject. The boys began to wonder if they would be scolded for it. It's like what the world would look like after the apocalypse. An ichthyander crawled out of the swamp. He's just as disgusting as Heihachi thought he was. Norl recognized that he wasn't cute at all. Estelle was about to do it again, but the guy stopped her, for the swamp might disappear. The girl began to strike at the monster, but it was unsuccessful, for she could not hit it. Finally, her patience reached its limit. She couldn't hit it if it kept moving. The guys realized that of course he would dodge. After all, he would die the moment he was hit. Estelle thought it would be easier to just blow up the swamp, but Heihachi asked them not to do that. He has a plan. The girl moved to execute the plan and told her brother to hit him good for her. She left the rest to them. The monster dodged the blow again. It let out a foul odor, annoying the team more and more. Ichthyander rushed to escape. Heihachi wasn't going to let him get away. After he bullied them like that, the guy managed to wound him. Norl only had to deliver the finishing blow. Somehow they defeated him. They had an uphill battle for a simple D rank quest. Heihachi offered to complete the C rank quest just as quickly. The next day, in some ruins, they went on a mission to destroy 10 Minotaurs. This is the 5th. Since the guys fought them, they've gotten stronger. Heihachi thinks they'll be done quickly. The ichthyander was more problematic. Minotaurs are so easy to hit. The 6th one was killed. Estelle found that a strong-looking man had appeared. When the boy saw him, he was horrified. Heihachi didn't understand why something like that in a rank C area. The monster has 3000 damage. Heihachi definitely doesn't want to fight something like that. He declared that they would immediately retreat, but it's already too late. Norl asked to leave the monster to her. Heihachi told Estelle to get out of here. It would be bad if she became his target. The monster was getting more and more furious. It rendered Heihachi's body immobilized. With the help of her shield, Norl plowed him to the ground. The girl saved the guy and asked how his body was. Heihachi is fine. He didn't realize what it was in the first place. Norl thinks it's because of those sparks. Those sparks seem to disappear when he attacks. The guy offered to distract him until one of them found an opportunity to attack. Heihachi noticed that the monster had weakened. He thinks it's about time. Guy told Norl to move aside. There was a real explosion thanks to the explosive ticket that Heihachi got from the Gacha. The monster was attacked by several more such explosions. The guy thinks it worked. While he was standing, the monster attacked from behind. Heihachi didn't have time to dodge. Norl is worried about Okuru, but can't leave Estelle alone. Estelle tells her to stand back. The mage can't kill him if she's in the way. Norl rushed to the boy, worried about his condition. He replied that he was fine. She gave him a potion, after which he came to his senses and asked what happened to that monster. Norl pointed in his direction. He saw Estelle use her powerful magic on it. Heihachi didn't understand what was going on here. A scarlet aura and a cold, emotionless face. The guy was startled at the thought of the girl using her skill. Estelle's skill-boosting magic power increased her damage by 50%, and lowered the target's magic defense by 50. Even a monster like Asterios that has a lot of health will instantly disappear. After defeating it, Estelle went down to Heihachi. She asked him not to do anything that would make her worry. From that moment on, he swore that he would never make her angry again. He's really sorry, but Heihachi thinks next time Estelle shouldn't use her skill just because she got angry. As expected, Estelle is the same as Norl. They have a disadvantage from using their skill. Then the guy decided to go and report their progress. The two of them can head back. He leaves Estelle for Norl. It's pretty late since Heihachi stopped by to sell some things on the way. When he opened the door, he saw Norl lying on the bed and doting on a toy, but without a mask. Their gazes met. When realization came to the girl, she screamed. She was outraged that he had already returned. Heihachi, on the other hand, asked why she was not using her mask. Norl stated that even she has moments when she wants to take it off. Anyway, the guy asked if she was okay with him seeing her face. It was all thanks to practicing with Estelle. She really did try. Heihachi asked where Estelle was. The girl was feeling better, so she was in the bathroom now. Then he inquired what Norl had been doing. She was admiring the toys they had bought. The girl thought they were cute. The boy, turning away, offered her more. He would take them as a reward for her practicing hard to show her face. Overjoyed, Norl hugged him. Her action embarrassed him, and this reaction did not please her, as if he might otherwise if it were not the usual Norl. However, these items, he thought they were just trash, but that's not the case. It's all about Norl's feelings. He can't understand it. The girl thanked him. After that, she felt something strange and realized that the time had come. Putting on the mask, she said that she hadn't had so much fun in a long time. Heihachi didn't understand what was wrong with her. Sting's dungeon labyrinth Hajino. It is an unusual dungeon with strong monsters as well as many rare items. Heihachi's group was promoted to rank C. They began their journey to conquer the dungeon. The first floor. This place is brighter than Heihachi thought. It's as if the walls themselves are emitting light. As Estelle realized, the walls and floor were using mana to glow. It seems that they immediately encountered a monster. It was a slime. Heihachi thinks his alone is enough to defeat it, but it immediately attacked him. Norl advised him not to let his guard down just because of her weak appearance. It was an acid slime. It shoots dissolving acid, so it's best to keep your distance. After realizing that it dissolves things, Heihachi introduced the girls. Estelle immediately noticed something wrong. The guy made sure she was well informed. After all, they had all read the document together at the guild. Could it be possible that he hadn't looked it over? Heihachi, he said, thought he could just use the status app. She called him so hopeless. The document said that there would only be slime until the 10th floor of this dungeon, so they decided to head to the 10th floor. On each floor, they encountered a new kind of slime. On the 9th was an explosive slime. They explode if provoked. Heihachi suggested destroying them from a distance. They realized it was time to get their feet away, as there was a chain reaction at work here. And then the 10th floor. There should be a strong monster on this floor, but here they discovered an object with an arrow on top. And this is a dead end. If Estelle remembers correctly, on the 10th floor, they have to twist this thing to go further. It looks like a switch. Sounds like fun. Norl suggests pressing it. The arrow stopped. They didn't understand its mechanism. As expected from a dungeon, the arrow went into motion again. Heihachi's group spun the roulette wheel. Even in a room full of monsters or an item room, they kept spinning the roulette, and then it turned out that there was no tape measure. Is this a dead end? They heard a strange sound. The entrance suddenly closed. The mana had become more dense. They should be on guard. The staircase that is the entrance to this floor appeared. It looks like they've returned to the beginning, so they will be returned if they choose the wrong path. Heihachi decided to do it again. The team set out to retrace their steps. They had gotten it wrong many times already and were exhausted. They had returned here at least 40 times already. Heihachi suggested that they both look ahead. The size of this door, its ornamentation. There can be no mistake. They finally reached the boss's room. They've been through a lot to get here. Estelle will prepare her best magic for the boss of this floor. They will take him down. Before that, Heihachi had noticed that the slime on this floor was stronger than the others. Unless Estelle is mistaken, the recommended group for this floor should contain a couple of rank B people. Heihachi offered to decide whether to fight him or not after seeing his status. When he opened the door, the guys saw a huge monster, and its stats were even higher than Asterios. They were already quite tired while getting here. The guy made the decision to go back. Their goal was to explore the dungeon, right? So he doesn't think retreating is a bad idea. Estelle thinks they don't need to force themselves to fight. Norl agreed with them. Safe return home is paramount. However, this Hajino maze is much more complicated than she thought. Heihachi has completely underestimated him. He thinks there is no other choice. They'll have to do it. Norl realized that he was thinking about the gacha. The guy can't think of any other way. Estelle said that it's rare to see a brat not interested in gacha. Heihachi replied that he was all for gacha, but he thinks their equipment is pretty good as it is. What they are missing now is a new member of the group, and what they could really use is the ability to heal at a distance. Priest, and that's where the problems come in. A huge hurdle in gacha is getting out exactly what you need. Pulling this thing out is no match for anything else. It'll be like hell. Estelle guesses in that case Heihachi is going to do as before, pulling out for everything they have when the event starts. That's what's expected of her. She grabs on the fly. The guy said that if they chose this method, they would have to face something scarier than a magic stone marathon, which scared the girls. They can't get anything out of the gacha until the event starts. The girls decided to go back, which angered him. Heihachi has a request for Norl. It has strained her. He asked her to spar with him. As the girl realized, he means a fight. Norl told Estelle that Okuradono was being kind of weird again. She agreed with her. And what bee stung him this time? The guy can hear them both just fine. Norl didn't understand what was wrong with him, so he could ask her to teach him how to fight. If Norl, a melee fighter, could teach him, Heihachi thought he could become stronger, even if only a little. He had always relied on Norl and Estelle, even in collecting magic stones. He wants to become stronger and lighten their burden. She's pleased that he took the initiative, but she hasn't trained anyone before. Heihachi thinks she's right. It can't be helped, after all, he asked so unexpectedly. The girl suggested starting with the first stage. They will give their best today to train Okuradono. They came to a place that seemed creepy to the guy. Norl thinks it's the best. This is the habitat of the monsters he had trouble with. A forest of warrior eagles. Norl will observe and afterward point out Okuradono's weaknesses, so he has to fix them when he fights. It also forbids him from using all equipment except sword and shield. The girl offered to take off the holy scaly cape, which made him very scared. He felt lonely and asked what he should do. Norl explained that Heihachi would have to fight one-on-one with the warrior eagle boss. The impending battle with a rare sight shocked him. What is she? A Spartan? He thought they were just going to spar. The girl decided it would be better to fight the monster right away. They should start by summoning the boss. Heihachi wondered if Norl could be trusted. The girl summoned the monster and supported the guy. The eagle instantly attacked him and displayed its unique abilities. It reflected on Heihachi's eyes. Also, his leg was cut. Estelle inquired about Norl's opinion. The girl thinks too much to be swept up. The boy could fight no more. Then she decided to proceed with the second round. He had no idea they would continue. First, Norl will tell him about the mistakes she noticed. He needs to correct them in the next fight. In the next round, she informed him that his viewing angle was too narrow. He needs to look not only at the enemy's weapon but also at his whole body. His defense is too weak. You can't hit anywhere like that. He shouldn't let his guard down just because he sees his condition. He's just waving his weapon around. Heihachi realized that he had gone to the wrong person for help. Norl noticed that he had gotten better at blocking enemy blows. Estelle agreed with her. If he continued training, he would definitely become stronger. He was horrified at the thought of having to continue. Norl explained that training was a thing that had to be repeated every day. Estelle is rooting for him, so she asked him to try harder. Heihachi promised to do his best. He received the notice. The guy found the marks, which meant attacking someone. Monsters attacked a defenseless rabbit. After trapping him, they were immediately decapitated. Norl saved the animal. Heihachi asked her not to run away alone like that. The girl apologized, but her body started to move on its own when she saw that baby. They found that the little animal was badly hurt. Norl really wanted to help him. Heihachi saw that the wound was quite deep. He handed the girl a great potion. It was quite valuable, and Norl decided to make sure she could use it. The boy realized that he was still seriously wounded. She was very grateful for it. The rabbit would heal in no time if he drank it. The girl asked him not to be careful, she wasn't bad. The effect is amazing. The wounds have healed so quickly. What one would expect from a gacha potion. Norl is pleased. She told him to be careful on his path. But the rabbit stayed put. Estelle realized that he was attached to her. The girl only turned to Okura as he refused. She hadn't said anything yet. Heihachi explained that they were living in an inn and there was no way they could keep pets. But Norl complimented that he was cute. She picked him up and held him out to the guy, asking him to look closely. Heihachi couldn't resist his cute look. He surrendered. Norl was lucky, and so they gained a new companion. Later that afternoon, a new event is approaching Heihachi's group. Norl was having a good time with her new pet. Estelle noticed that she had grown attached to her. Norl thought she was cute. She named the rabbit Moffat. It turned out to be a good luck rabbit. They say that just seeing one once will bless you with good luck. Norl suggested that Heihachi start a carnival. Finally, the campaign he had been waiting for finally began. What's more, now the grand prize is the priest they've been waiting for. Estelle thought that her brother didn't like the banner, but that's not the case. Heihachi is happy that the priest has shown up, but if he had known it would be like this, he would have collected more magic stones. The girls realized why he was so depressed. The boy decided to start. This time, they have 33 attempts to draw the gacha. They now have 902 magic stones. That is, everyone will be able to draw out the gacha twice. This time, one push will cost 3 times as much as 11 attempts. His words make Norl worried. Estelle can't believe that Norl is worried. Then she will take the honor of being the first. He was surprised by her attitude. This time, let Estelle be in the vanguard. Thanks to the girl, they had obtained many items. The severity of 33 attempts was incomparable to 11. Watching the screen when they didn't pull out a single ultra-rare item is sheer punishment. But if they succeed and pull out the priest, Heihachi will be over the moon. Estelle regretted it, but the guy asked not to worry. He respects her determination. Come to think of it, it was just 11 tries for 6. Just thinking about it gives him the shivers. Is it the same shiver of excitement? Norl thinks Okuradono looks strange. Now it's his turn. His maximum rarity was super rare. After the failure, Heihachi told everyone to calm down. But Norl noticed that he was the one who needed to calm down. With 3 attempts left, in such a short time, only half of them remained. There's still a whole half left. They would definitely get an ultra-rare item. Why doesn't he try again? As he expected, with his skill, it would come to him on its own. He was acting too arrogant, so the guy pulled it out. There he is, right there. No exaggeration, it's a win. But afterward, he dropped the phone. Heihachi pulled out another copy of Estelle's weapon. Norl was startled to find Okuradono not breathing. Estelle quickly solved it by electrifying his body. To think he was out of breath from the gacha. He realized that he had a copy again and had 2 tries left. The boys could only hope for Norl's luck. The girl worried when they looked at her like that, but thinks she has no choice. She, like the others, has knocked out a bunch of items. The boy again consoled himself that there was still a try left. Norl could see that he was smiling through the effort. But even with Norl's incredible luck, they failed. Heihachi was afraid that it would end like this. Would they really miss a chance like this? If only he had a magic card with credit access. Norl suggested to him that Moffat should give it a try. Heihachi wondered if it was okay to let the rabbit try. He indifferently stated that he didn't care. The girl showed the rabbit where to press. It is a lucky rabbit, after all. Estelle has faith in him. Heihachi doesn't think it will go so smoothly. Moffat's paw touches the phone screen. The rabbit was able to knock out the priest Shisuhu Alvi. The guy realized that he really does bring good luck. So that's the power of the servant of luck. Good thing they got him. Heihachi is happy, but he lost. A man who worries about the cause, not the outcome. The guy lost in luck to a rabbit. The girls didn't realize what was wrong with him now. Is he out of breath from happiness? Guaranteed SSR, a series of 33 attempts. They worked together and finally, they won, not without the help of a rabbit. And the next day came what they had been waiting for. The day for the priest to join their group had come, unexpectedly early, and it was all thanks to Moffat, which was slightly annoying for Heihachi. He recognized that in fact they would not have made it without Moffat's help, and was grateful to him. Now the guy intends to summon her immediately. The guys can't wait to see it. Estelle realized that about the same way she had been summoned. The priestess, Shisuha Alvi, Heihachi never got her in his world. Due to her looks, she was quite popular. The mere thought that they were about to meet tormented him. Finally, the girl's call came through. Shisuka pronounced that she was pleased to meet the master. The girl introduced herself and the boy became timid at the sight of her. He hesitantly said that it was a pleasure for him too, and introduced himself. Norl remarked that he didn't react to them like that. Heihachi replied that this was a lie. Estelle was not happy with his reaction. The priestess is better than the guy expected. Besides, he was attracted by her large breasts. Shisuka was a little embarrassed by his stare, which displeased Estelle even more. She caught him off guard by asking what he was staring at. After an awkward silence, Heihachi replied as if he thought that this pendant was simply peerless. Norl thought it was strange that he was so embarrassed. Estelle turned around to the priestess and apologized. They still hadn't introduced themselves. The girls introduced themselves and the rabbit. Shisuha couldn't resist the cute Moffat. She bailed out Heihachi. The guy addressed her as Alvi-san and asked her permission to look at her profile. The girl knows it's impolite of her, but he can just call her Shisuha. Then the guy asked to call him Okura. Estelle watched unhappily as they decided to address each other. Heihachi went to her profile and realized that she was ready to get into fights. The girl was overjoyed by this news. In addition, they have a holy prayer that expands the recovery range and is able to recover multiple characters at the same time. This power balances their team. In addition, Heihachi can see it perfectly well, but her breasts are large, just as he imagined. The guy was scared at first, thinking that the evil Estelle was determinedly heading towards him, but the girl approached Shisuha. She suspected that the priestess was hiding something. Shisuka felt awkward and pretended as if she didn't realize what she was saying. Heihachi felt that she had nothing to hide from them. After all, they had only summoned her. Norl agreed with him. Suspecting her for no reason is not good. Estelle acknowledged that Shisuha was right and apologized to her. As she stared at her brother, she looked so preoccupied that Estelle inadvertently doubted her. The priestess replied that it was all right. Heihachi noticed that this was so unlike Estelle. He doesn't see anything suspicious about her. She has a heart of gold. In contrast, communication with her is smooth. The guy is counting on Shisuka. Norl has offered to give his best. The girl asked him to take care of her. As Estelle realized, she and her brother would now be sleeping together. Heihachi is going to sleep on the floor. Shisuha can't let him sleep on the floor while they will rest on the bed. Now, Norl called him over to them. They had housing problems again when Shisuha joined them. Heihachi had offered to rent another room, but everyone but him had unanimously agreed to live in the same room. So he had no choice but to take a room for 4. However, it would be bad if men and women slept in the same bed. He asked her to be sensible. This angered Norl, and he lashed out at her with a threat to pinch her cheek. Estelle decided to give up the idea of sleeping together for the time being. But in return, Heihachi could tell who he would choose if he had to sleep with one of them. Shisuha thinks she doesn't have a chance since she was only drafted today. Guy asked if he could refuse to answer that question, to which Estelle firmly replied that she could not. Heihachi didn't know what he should do. He needed the answer that would cause the least amount of damage. After thinking it over, he chose Norl. The girls wondered why. He reasoned that among the 3 of them, she was the least feminine, which made her more than a little angry. The next day, Shisuha apologized to Okura. She ended up causing them to wander around the capital. He asked not to worry about it. The guy doubts that there will be another gacha event in the near future. Estelle agreed with him. Wouldn't it be nice to spend a day to strengthen their friendship? Norl suggested having fun. Besides, Heihachi felt sorry that he couldn't choose some casual attire for the priestess. She asked not to worry about it. The girls could lend her some of their clothes, but Norl doubted it would fit her. Then, first of all, they should go buy clothes for Shisaki. The priestess felt awkward. Heihachi decided that they could buy whatever they liked today. Then Norl would eat a lot. They thought it was strange that she talked about food. The boys went shopping and had a good time together. Heihachi was tired. To think that Moffat is getting so much attention. The rumor that just looking at him makes you feel much better turned out to be true. In other words, the lucky rabbit is an amazing creature. One of the boys running near them tripped and fell. Shisuha immediately went to his aid and healed his wound. After the healing, the boy felt much better. Both of them marveled at her abilities. The priestess asked him to be careful next time, and the boy thanked her. The boys had expected this from the priestess. Heihachi added that, after all, Shisuha is a good person. The boy thinks it's about time for lunch. Norl declared that she would eat to her heart's content today. Shisuha thanked Okuru for today. She feels needed. She is so happy. Heihachi was embarrassed by her confession. Besides, Estelle was the one who came up with the idea. The guy remembered that when he summoned Estelle, there was no welcome party or anything like that. So it seems to him that she is just taking care of Shisuka. She should not be thanking him but Estelle. The priestess understood that, but she would like to thank Okuru as well. He saw that Shisuha was a real priest after all. Estelle said that she looked very suspicious, but he was sure it was only her imagination. Shisuha is a good person. Heihachi doesn't think she's hiding anything. The guys noticed the crowd that had gathered, and the girls went to check. People were invited to become challengers in a contest with a sturdily built man, 5,000 gil for one try. The winner would receive 100,000 gil. They fought him in arm wrestling. Estelle offered Heihachi a try, but the guy abruptly refused. Any way you look at it, he can't beat the guy. In that case, Shisuha decided to give it a try. The guy asked if she was sure about it. The girl replied that she had little confidence in her strength. After all, she is a priestess. Estelle was worried if she would be alright. Heihachi hoped she wouldn't overreact like Norl, which she also didn't like herself. The jock decided that he was so lucky today. He would be able to shake hands with such a beautiful lady. The girl asked him to go easy on her. The opponents began to battle. The man's face visibly tensed, and the others didn't realize what had happened. He could not move his arm. The man couldn't understand what was wrong with this girl. In the end, she won, which shocked the spectators. Shisa rejoiced at her victory and the fact that she had received 100,000 gil. Heihachi was stressed that she had won so easily. Or to be more precise, she was much stronger than him. Is it possible that this is what Estelle suspected? The goal of the quest is to kill 10 kobolds. Shisa is looking forward to her first quest. Norl suggested to finish it faster and increase their rank. Heihachi asked to wait for him. Looks like he needs to get used to walking around in this first. Estelle thought it was better to take off the helmet. Since they had gotten it from the last Hacha, the guy decided to try it on. Isn't that cool? The girls think he stands out from the crowd. It reduces his field of vision but increases his defense, so they can leave the tank role to him. Even though it's only kobolds, Estelle asked them to keep their guard up. Heihachi was the first to go into battle. The monster hitting him did not expect the armor to be so strong. To think he let the kobold attack him. The guy was still far from being used in practice. Norl agreed with him. Although his defense is high, he should be able to dodge attacks. Heihachi decided that since they had already killed 10 kobolds, they could go back. But Norl stopped him and told him to look back. They were suddenly surrounded by a rare species of kobolds. Looks like they'll get magic stones if they kill these guys. Take out as many as they can. He told the girls to kill every last one of them. Heihachi was about to protect Shisa when he suddenly got hit by the monster. He fell to the ground and saw nothing. The guy was most afraid that Shisa was in danger. Frightened, he took off his helmet. The girl asked if he was hurt. Norl saw that they were also finished on this side. Heihachi thought that they had defeated these guys too, but Norl didn't know what he was talking about. She praised Okiru. After that, Shisa raised the rank and he continued on his way to becoming a tank. A few days later, today, they would be hunting eagle chiefs. Once again, special training. Shisa was looking forward to fighting a new opponent. The boy noticed that she enjoyed fighting. The girl barely replied that she liked to kill. She corrected herself by saying that she was glad for the opportunity to fight. Heihachi tensed at what she was about to say. Estelle then suggested destroying the eagle warriors so that eagle leaders would appear. Shisa would also want to fight the ordinary eagle warriors along with Okira, which he didn't expect. If he wants to become a tank, she thinks it's better to practice fighting while being surrounded by large numbers of enemies. The girls agreed with her, all for the sake of becoming a tank. Heihachi didn't understand how that happened. Fighting to protect Shisa, he feels embarrassed, but he can't screw up like that again. If the guy fails, who knows what will happen to her. Heihachi can't put such a fragile girl in danger. He has to do it for her protection no matter what. The guy tells Shisa to use him as a shield while they fight. The girl decided to speak her mind about the battles. Then she would not be deterred. Heihachi just has to watch the opponent's movement. He is able to react to the opponent's movement, but it doesn't look like he is trying to figure out what he will do next. For example, when the monster tries to dodge to the right, he shifts to the left before taking off. If a guy can read his movement, he should be able to predict his next move. Heihachi assumed that he would not be able to do this right away. Shisa explained that that was why he should keep that in mind and keep practicing. His movements aren't that bad, so she thinks he will be able to do it. So the priestess offered to do their best. The enemies have already stepped in. Heihachi killed one of the eagle chiefs. The monster activated Divine Speed. The skill Divine Speed covers the user with a red aura that triples his agility. The enemy became fast. Shisa tried to calm down Heihachi. His basic movements are the same as an eagle warrior. Nothing will happen to the guy if he follows his movement. Heihachi managed to defeat his opponent. Amazing. Norl can't believe he managed to hit an opponent moving so fast. Estelle noticed that he had improved his skills so quickly. He must have a talent. Heihachi explained that it was because Shisa had given him one piece of advice. Estelle doubted that she was really a priestess. Shisa awkwardly confirmed it. Estelle saw that she taught better than Norl despite being a priestess. This affected Norl. The girl suggested that Okira find the next eagle chief. She would also teach him without holding back. Heihachi wasn't happy about it. It was all because Estelle had said unnecessary things. Even though Heihachi has a new set of gear, it's kind of boring to continue hunting in the warrior eagle forests. Everyone understood that it was a good place to train, so it couldn't be helped. Norl came up with the idea to go hunt Asterios for a change. The boy felt embarrassed at his harsh reaction. He explained to Norl that it was not the kind of monster to hunt for a change, but the girl knew that he seemed to be used to fighting warrior eagles by now. He should fight a strong monster at least once. Heihachi agreed with her, but it didn't necessarily have to be an Asterios. Shisa asked him not to worry. If something happened, she could always heal him in a blink of an eye. Even if the guy loses his limbs, as long as he lived, he could be sure that she would heal him. Heihachi couldn't be sure of that. The guy was frightened by the upcoming battle with such a monster. Norl supported him. It was time to overcome his fear. First, he decided to prepare his gear. Shisa must be prepared for an emergency. The guy was also going to apply the lion's heart, which would reduce the likelihood of panicking. Finally, a rematch. He hesitantly announced the start of the fight, and Estelle could see that it wasn't really working. She and Norl wished them luck. If things got dangerous, they would come to their aid. Heihachi was wary. Weren't they all going to do this together? Shisa said that they would try. The guy was having a very hard time restraining his opponent. Finally, the monster fell down, and Heihachi hit it with all his might. This made him very angry, but thanks to special training, somehow Heihachi is able to dodge its attacks. Shisa watched the battle enthusiastically. The guy thought everything was going great, but he was wrong. The opponent put him in a stalemate. Norl decided to help him. Shisa managed to protect Heihachi from the blow at the right moment. Her power shocked everyone. But that wasn't the end of it. The girl continued to finish off the monster. Shisa is a fine and good person, an affectionate priestess who heals everyone. But all the time Heihachi turned a blind eye to the fact that Shisa is no ordinary priestess. After finally defeating the monster, the girl said that it was still great to stretch out a bit. She worried about Heihachi's condition and apologized. The girl knows she shouldn't interfere with his special training, so she was holding back the whole time. But when she watched Okura fight, she just couldn't resist, and her body moved on its own. Just like Estelle had told him, Shisa was hiding something. The guy recognized it as his fault. While they were here, the priestess wanted to ask him something. He was afraid she would say it as if it were something else. The girl wanted to kill these two, no longer hiding it. After a full meal, Norl plumped herself on the bed. Heihachi remarked that if she lay there after eating, she would turn into a cow. The girl replied that it was fine. She is the kind of person who eats and doesn't get fat at all. Estelle envies her. The guy told her to just come over. It had been quite some time since the fight with Asterios. Since then, Heihachi continued his special training by collecting magic stones. Thanks to that, Shisa had risen to rank C. The girl apologized for waiting and treated them to tea. Estelle remarked that she was very caring, and Heihachi agreed. Although she is very kind and affectionate, he wondered why she becomes like that when it comes to battle. Norl inquired if there were plans for today. Heihachi said that after they successfully added a priest to their team, he decided to continue spinning gacha. Norl thought he had forgotten about it, but there's no way the guy could have forgotten about the gacha. He says it with such confidence. Besides, he'd just gotten this notice. It said premium ticket. It's a little different from the regular ones. In other words, after scrolling 11 times in a row, they would get a free ticket with a character of SSR rank or higher. Norl was confused by the fact that it was free. Heihachi offered to think about it after they scrolled the gacha. Norl knew that if they thought about it after they scrolled, it would be too late. He asked her to take it easy. As the saying goes, better to do and regret than not to do and regret later. Thinking after the fact is the norm. Norl doesn't think that way. Shisa found out what Okura's true face was. Norl replied that it was normal. The priestess marveled that he was such a spunky person. Norl was surprised by her reaction after all she had seen. Heihachi enthusiastically got down to business. As expected, he knocked out one litter. One could tell just by looking at him. Shishachi had an idea of the gacha. So many things fell out. Estelle realized that she was seeing the gacha for the first time. Spinning the gacha was so interesting. Norl, startled, said that she shouldn't be interested in it. Heihachi knew that this was not the end. They still have the premium ticket. He's still not finished. An ultra-rare chest appeared in front of the guys. A Norl fell out of it. Heihachi wasn't happy about it, which offended the girl herself. The thought of the doppelganger disturbed Norl. The boy didn't know what he should do about it. He imagined the two Norls looking at the toys. It was easy for them to communicate and understand each other. Heihachi can see they get along well. It would be strange if they didn't get along. Moffat crawled out from under the toys. Each girl began to beckon him to her. In the end, they never could decide who the rabbit would be with. Heihachi offered to calm down, but it came to a fight. He failed to stop the girls, and there was utter chaos on the spot. Norl wondered what he was up to, and the guy felt uncomfortable denying it. Estelle asked what he would do. They would get a boost in strength if they had another Norl. The boy asked the girl's opinion. Norl wants him to decide for himself what is best, even if she asks him about it. Norl was the first person he summoned when he came into this world, and she's been with him all along. Between the Norl he has known since the beginning and the Norl who will only be summoned, he won't be able to treat them equally. Certainly, it could increase their fighting power. But even so, Heihachi stated that Norl is the only one for him. So to be honest, he doesn't want to do that. Estelle noticed that it was like a confession. They are both on good terms, as Shisa sees. The guy felt awkward and replied that he just thought that if he didn't like it if there was another him. Estelle saw that there was some truth in that. Something appeared on the screen of the phone as Shisa picked it up. It seemed impossible to summon two identical characters. Norl exhaled with relief. That's what they would have said from the beginning. She had been greatly frightened. Heihachi realized that she could be strengthened in return. For some reason, the girl had a bad feeling. But if it will make her stronger, she agrees. Then they'll do it. New powers began to merge with her body. The girl didn't realize what was happening. Something was entering her body. Heihachi was worried about her. She told the guy that she has tingles all over her body. She couldn't help herself. He asked her to let him go. Norl stated that her body was raring to go. She was going to go hunting right now. The girl is so enthusiastic. There was no way Heihachi could calm her down. Estelle remarked that she liked this reinforcement, and Shisuha asked where they were going to hunt. Adventurers Guild. It's surprisingly crowded today. Someone was surprised that the guys also came today. It was Deju's team that they had met after so long. The first thing Deju said was that Estelle was still just as nice. The girl tried to remember his name. The boy realized that they disliked him through his own fault. He turned his attention to the lady on their team. Shisa introduced herself, pleased to meet her. Deju's gaze perked up, and he enthusiastically replied that it was nice to meet her too. Meguru didn't like his lustful look. The guy explained that he was just enjoying her beauty. The girl was even more infuriated by the fact that he kept looking at her. The other members of his team, Sumika and Gauss, also introduced themselves. Deju's, not seeing Heihachi nearby, decided that he wasn't with them today. Immediately after what he said, the guy put his hand on his shoulder. Deju's decided that it was their new comrade. There was no way he could have thought it was Okura. The guy didn't expect to see him in such an outfit. He realized that Heihachi had decided to become a tank. No doubt it's a good idea, but isn't it dangerous to walk around the city like that? Heihachi wondered why. Deus explained that it wouldn't be surprising if, walking around like that, the guards would imprison him. Heihachi didn't expect it to be that bad. The girls were against it too, having to take off the helmet. Just as Meguru thought, Estelle is incredibly cute. Estelle was glad to hear that, but suggested she stop hugging her, which she wasn't going to do. Gauss suddenly asked Heihachi if he knew about the tank's duties. The boy tentatively suggested that he had to endure pain. The man realized that he didn't really understand what a tank was supposed to do. Gauss decided to tell him what it meant to be a tank. They start with who a tank is. Norl became curious about what was going on there. Deju's apologized. He always acts like this when it comes to tanks. Shisu seems like they're talking about something interesting. She'd like to talk to him if she gets a chance. Norl called her funny. The guild administrator found that everyone had already arrived. She figured they were busy. Heihachi inquired if she needed anything. They were assigned a difficult task. Some places were beginning to show signs of the appearance of great annihilations. To prevent it, she wants them to subdue the monsters. Heihachi asked what a great annihilation was. Deus was surprised that he hadn't heard of it. There are two types of great annihilation. The first, when an overly strong monster appears, and the second, the raid of a huge number of monsters that are likely to cause great damage. This time, the goal is to defeat a pack of monsters in the area where kobolds usually appear, so it is recommended to send rank B groups there. She asked Deju's and Okuru to accept this task. Heihachi was surprised that this assignment was so difficult since they were sending two groups. The girl continued that they must have heard about the recent monster-related anomalies. For example, the area where Okura defeated Asterios. Recently, reports of monsters that shouldn't appear in those vicinities started coming in. If you think about it that way, something like that has already happened. That's what the guild leader told her, so she asked her to be careful. Deju's replied that he agreed, and inquired about Okura's opinion. The guy decided that in that case, they would also participate. The two groups set off. To think that Meguru would get the chance to do a mission with Estelle on the same team. The girl was confident that luck was on her side. Deju's asked her not to overdo it. Meguru was ready to protect Estelle. Heihachi didn't think walking could be so tiring. But it was fun. Shisuha had heard about Gauss's experience. She would like to talk to him. The girl inquired about the most powerful attack he had dealt with, the occasion to talk about his work revitalized Gauss. They seemed to have found them. Meguru rejoiced at the opportunity to show them her power. The monsters rushed to attack. Meguru was the first to fire her bow. The girl demolished 3 opponents at once. Dijuz didn't expect her to do that. She replied that she just attacked like she always did, but she didn't think the monsters would explode. Estelle wondered what had happened. Heihachi thought that they hadn't exploded like that before. It seems that the guys are recognizing them as members of his group. Estelle assumes this means they got some kind of buff. The guy forgot about it. It wasn't that long ago that he was trying to change the title. Just to think there is something like that. Heihachi uses the Secretary General since he gives the best buffs. And by all appearances, he works for Deus's group as well. The guy decided that this could work. Norl realized that he was onto something again. If Heihachi gets it right, if Dijuz and the others also kill rare monsters, it means they can get even more magic stones. The more people on the team, the more stones too. Estelle noticed that he's quick-witted when he needs to be. Shisa thinks it's a good idea. The others joined the conversation. Heihachi explained that they were just talking about how strong their allies were. He couldn't wait to work with them already. Dijuz replied that they were excited to work with them too. A few days later they arrived. Here it is, the sign. Heihachi was shocked that they had to do away with all of them. There are more monsters than usual. With this many, the ringleader should have already appeared. Dijuz explained that when a group of monsters grows to the level of a great annihilation, there is a high chance that there will be a main monster in the group. This is what is called the ringleader. Heihachi realized that they just needed to defeat him. Dijuz added that considering the damage that could be done to the area, they couldn't just be ignored. Estelle decided that they just had to destroy them in one blow. The girl was going to finish them off with her magic, but Heihachi stopped her. He asked her not to waste her magic in such a place. Instead, the guy suggested to look over there. There is a giant and a red one in the crowd of kobolds. They are definitely rare, and in their situation, he wants to make sure that magic stones are also knocked out from Dijuz and the others. The guys felt a surge of power. It was Estelle's support magic. For Meguru, it's over the top. Estelle was confused by her reaction. Heihachi informed Dijuz that he and Norl were in the vanguard, and Meguru and the others would provide them with support from the back. Heihachi told the girls not to overdo it. He was counting on them. The team proceeded to execute the plan. The guys discovered that Estelle's support magic was just something. Heihachi saw that if it continued like this, it would be the easiest thing to do. Dijuz knew the guys' team was crazy strong to the point of insanity. But to be this strong, even from the last duel, he knew Norl was strong. But Dijuz didn't know she was that awesome. The girl felt uncomfortable. Estelle saw that she still didn't seem to have opened up to him. Meguru reminded him of the ongoing battle. Heihachi knew it. The magic stones didn't add up at all. He assumed that there was some condition. Deus summoned Okuru to show something to him. From the countless crowd of monsters, the kobold lord stood out. There were many times more opponents, and there seemed to be a leader among them as well. Everyone realized that it was useless to fight 2 groups at once, so they would have to run away. Dijuz wants Okura to decide whether they should leave or stay. After all, if they keep fighting, most of the work will have to be left to them. Heihachi hadn't gotten any magic stones yet. Besides, if they left, the villages nearby might be attacked. But he hadn't dealt with such a depressed group yet. Oh, and Dijuz and the others were quite tired. The guy didn't know what he should do. If that was all, Norl was sure they could handle it. It had been a long time since Estelle had used magic to its full potential. Shisa doesn't mind either, just going to do what she has to do. Then Heihachi made the decision to go into battle. They will start with Estelle's explosive magic, and when there are fewer enemies, they'll switch to the leader. He told the girl to give her best today. Dijuz's team would follow them. Shisa also wanted to join them, but Heihachi decided that she would stand in the rear and treat them. As was the plan, Estelle used explosive magic. After seeing this, Dijuz even became surprised. The monster attacked him from behind. Norl told him to retreat and cover the rear. The kobold lord also decided to join the battle and threw his spear. Norl noticed that they had gotten too far ahead. Dai was glad she was worried, but it was okay. She asked him to be careful. Suddenly Heihachi couldn't resist the explosion. He was thrown into the air. The landing would definitely not be soft. The guy didn't want to fall. The others noticed that Okura-san was flying. Meguru decided that they needed to help him. Estelle thought she should help him. It was Norl who took it upon herself to rescue the leader. That's why she was worried. Well, now she told him to hold on tight. They would continue to fight in flight. Meguru didn't understand how she was flying so high. Estelle replied that she applied a special skill. If Norl is so taken up, then the end is near. Silver Aura, tripling all statuses for 10 minutes. This was a new skill that Valkyrie Norl Fanya had obtained after improving twice in the gacha. The enemy summoned an offspring. Norl deftly fought them while flying. The girl turned to him. Heihachi decided as if something had gone wrong even after all this. She thought back to what would happen after the skill's effects ended. The guy replied that it was his turn to carry her now. Heihachi asked about the setting. The boys were stunned with shock, and he joined them. They watched Shisuha mercilessly fighting the monsters. That girl is hopeless, isn't she? The team was given an award for great submission. There's a total of 40 million gil. Heihachi couldn't believe that it was really them. The administrator added that there was also proof of the Kobold Lord's submission, so it seemed to be a reasonable amount. They'll still get 20 million even after splitting it with Deus's party. That's a lot of money. Deus thinks Okura's guys should take it all. Heihachi didn't understand why. Obviously they should split it in half. Deus replied that they can't do that. It was only because of them that this great submission was successful. Instead they feel that they have been a burden to them. Heihachi thought that if in his opinion they were a burden, then what about him who was blown away by the spear? If it wasn't for his defense, Estelle wouldn't have been able to use her magic to her advantage. They were able to safely complete the submission because they worked together. Therefore, Heihachi asked to take half of it. Deju's decided to take half of it, and in return, he will get his hands on it. Heihachi should stay with them for a while. Then, to celebrate the success of the great submission, ovation, Heihachi asked Norl not to eat too much just because she felt better. The girl is starving, so nothing can be done. Deju said they could eat more and more, today it's up to them. He also owes a great debt to Norl-san for saving him. By all means, Deju's asked to eat as much as his heart desired. Heihachi doesn't care about that anymore. At this time, Shisuha approached him and offered to have a drink together. This fruity wine is delicious. Heihachi replied that he was fine anyway. He's a small drinker. The girl continued to insist on having a drink together and also called him cute. She pressed up against him from behind and hugged him, which embarrassed him because her breasts were touching his. Shisuka did not see anything strange in her actions, but it was noticed by the others. Sumika wondered if it would be better if she became a priest like Shisuha-san. Both in battle and in the chest, Gauss decided to calm her down. It's not good, she knows. Norl noticed that Okura-san was already embarrassed. Shisuha wanted to play some more, but Norl suggested that she look over there. Behind Estelle's cute look was a huge hatred. Shisuha immediately pulled away from the boy. She apologized for getting a little carried away. Heihachi thanked Norl. The girl can see that he hasn't eaten anything at all, but it's really good. She decides to feed him personally. The boy realized that it was indeed very tasty. He and Norl called out to Miguru. There's a lot of fatty meat. Hearing about the meat, Norl went there right away. The guys spent the rest of the time together well. The bill amounted to 1,150,000 gil. Norl's stomach was full, which was expected of her and her good appetite. As Heihachi had said, he would pay for half. But Deju's reminded him that he had also done something rude to him when they first met. This time he would pay for everything. Heihachi called him a real man. Miguru realized that she had to say goodbye here. She wished she could still hug Estelle-chan. Estelle replied that she had hugged her enough. It had been a long time since Gauss could have a heart-to-heart talk like that. He offered to meet again. Shisuha happily agreed. Sumika should also do her best to become like her. It was time to split up. Deju's thanked them for today. Without the guys, it would have been a serious incident. Heihachi said to let him know if anything happened again. Also, Deju's asked not to hesitate to rely on them. They would do their best to help. The two groups said goodbye. Heihachi didn't expect to enjoy himself so much at Deus's party. Shisuha pressed herself against the boy, and he was surprised that she could walk. The girl recovered with her magic. She thinks it's not so bad to get drunk. Heihachi noticed that recovery magic was a very livable spell. Estelle decided to talk about drinking. Shisuka had done something funny with her brother earlier, hadn't she? The priestess tried to prove that she had not done anything like that. Estelle offered to talk until she remembered. Until they slept all night. Shisuka ran away and replied that it was all because of the alcohol. Watching the girls, he suddenly turned to the telephone. The guy came to know about the Great Subjugation and the Achievement Award. Heihachi, who completed the Great Enslavement, received 2 notices. It turned out that the lottery had been resurrected, which he was madly happy about. As a reward, he received 50 magic stones and a cost reduction. Norl realized that the cost would be reduced. He explained that it only reduced the cost by 1, so it probably wouldn't make much difference. That point, for whose sake would Heihachi lose Estelle? Contrary to their expectations, he wouldn't lie now. She had called him greedy. In any case, the guy didn't expect that they could get goods other than from the lottery. I wonder if there is something else from the other events. Who knows, maybe there's even a maze. Judging from both the magic stones and rare monsters, just what principle does this thing use? Shisa asked if he was going to draw a lottery. The guy wanted to talk about the Heihachi festival. Or is that what he wanted to say? But this time they will do the raffle once for each person. The girls were surprised that they can't do a carnival raffle this time too. Estelle somehow can't believe that Heihachi will raffle only once. He explains that this time this raffle is item based. That is all they are hoping for. But that doesn't mean that the value of SSR items and above has increased, so frankly, you can skip this event. But since it's a special event, he thinks it's okay as long as they operate in moderation. He lets Shisa do it too. Come to think of it, this is her first time. Then Heihachi suggested starting with her. The girl did a tap on the screen. She knocked out many rare items. Everyone tried to remain calm, but not her. Shisa was intentionally going to press again. Heihachi stopped her in time. The girl asked to be released. Wasn't it cruel that her first time would end like this? She asked to be allowed to touch him with her fingertip. Estelle realized that Shisa was the same as Heihachi. He would let her play a prank for once. She thought it was too cruel. The guy didn't expect her to try to prank him again. He can't even let his guard down for a second. Everyone noticed that he was in no position to talk like that. Estelle felt sorry for Shisa. The guys continued to knock out the items. Even with Moffat's help, they only have one SSR. Shisa figured that one was already enough. Heihachi replied that somehow they always have at least one. He'll pull another one this time, they could be sure. Estelle thought he should stop raising flags like that. The guy was sure that with his power of fate it was nothing. Estelle saw it coming. Heihachi couldn't cast anymore. He had stopped Shisa before, so of course he wouldn't do it. It was decided that they would point guard one time each, but so far they have only gotten SSRs. If that was the case, it wouldn't be strange if something higher than SSR came out next time. Would it? Heihachi felt that they should just play it out again. He and Shisa were tied up. The guy wondered what he had done to deserve it. Norl offered to use her head to reflect on herself. Heihachi begged to let him cast again. Estelle asked both of them if punishment still wasn't enough. Shisa didn't understand why and neither did she. Frightened, Heihachi began to apologize. Shisa offered to let her go. The boy kept saying that he was reflecting on himself, so he asked to be untied. Estelle inquired about Norl's opinion. She thought it was alright, so she allowed them to be untied. But in return she wants to check the raffle items. The girls enjoyed the sweets together. As expected of the lottery items, they are on a different level. They only get one snack per day. Heihachi sighed that in the end, they only got one SSR. More, the subject of home expansion. They can't use it if they don't have a house. In that case, Estelle offered to buy them a house. They got an extra amount of money for the great submission. The girl thinks it is a good opportunity. Heihachi agreed to it. He had never thought about it. The protagonist lived in an apartment in his past world, so he never really thought about a house of his own. But in this world, even he can have his dream house. That's a good idea. Heihachi is also thinking of buying a house. They can let him know if they have any requests. Estelle noticed that it was their first time for two. The boy didn't realize what that meant. The girl explained that Norl and Shisa were always with them wherever they went. This is the first time they are alone. However, they just go to the realtor. Heihachi chose her because she seemed the most normal of them. But it seems better to keep it a secret. The realtor asked what kind of property he wanted to buy. Heihachi wanted the nearest one to the Adventure Association. Estelle added that she also wanted a detached house. She inquired if there was a good one available. The realtor asked how big they want it. Heihachi thinks for 4 people or more. The man got busy looking for a suitable one. The smallest one costs 90 million gil. This sum was too much for them. Heihachi didn't think it would be so expensive. After all, this was the royal capital. With the finances they have, it would be hard to buy something very expensive. Estelle thought about it, but what if they choose a place outside the royal capital? Guy informed the girls of their decision. He was thinking of looking for a house in Brunn. Shisa knew that this was the place they lived in before they called on her. Since Shisa has never been to Brunn, Heihachi thinks it's a good opportunity. They are leaving tomorrow. Norl realized that they would ride that thing again. Estelle assumed she had an injury from the carriage ride. Guy reassured them with another. They traveled there on a magic carpet. Estelle wondered how long it would take for the magic carpet to reach Brunn. Heihachi found out that according to the map appendix, it would take more than 2 days. To make it easier to go back, he would leave some kind of mark along the way. It ended up taking 3 days to drive. Shisuha remarks that it is a nice and peaceful place. Heihachi thinks he will feel at home in a place like this. The new city left her with a good first impression of herself. Since everyone was already tired, Heihachi decided to call it a day. He suggested resting first and then looking at the house tomorrow. The house is so simple that the guy feels a little uneasy. Its price is 7 million gil, a 5-minute walk from the Adventurers Association. Compared to what's in the royal capital, it's very cheap. They are both close to the association, but the second one costs 90 million gil. Norl was glad that it was all thanks to Estelle's suggestion. Then Heihachi suggested looking inside. The inside turned out to be empty. There was no bed, no furniture, nothing at all. No bathtub either. It has been cleaned up, but there are a few places that are still dirty. There are also weeds growing outside. Norl suggested starting by cleaning the house, and Estelle decided to take it up. She will clean up all the dust with her wind magic. The boys, panicked, stopped her. The house would explode if she did that. The girl thought she could control herself, at least. The boys proceeded to clean up. Shisa wiped the windows, and Norl took care of the floor. Heihachi saw that he would need to spend the whole day to clear the area of weeds. As Estelle was sweeping, she discovered something. What she saw frightened the girl to the point of terror. The boys recognized Estelle's voice and went to her. The girl clung to Heihachi. That thing, it came out of nowhere, black and fast, and it flies. The creature headed for Shisa. The girl tore apart the wall, trying to hit it. Estelle asked Heihachi to help her. The creature flew inside her. The boy was confused, not knowing what to do. The girl couldn't take it anymore. Norl calmed her down. She took the creature out and threw it outside. It's just a cockroach. The two of them are exaggerating too much. If they found one cockroach, then there are many more hiding. The boys realized that they were surrounded by these horrible creatures. They hoped that Norl would do something. Afterward, they realized that cleaning the house is not easy. Norl feels more tired than after a hard battle. Estelle thought, would it be just cleaning? But those cockroaches are disgusting. Shisuha agrees with her. Then now that they had done the cleaning, Heihachi suggested that it would be faster to try to expand the building. They could finally use it. It would need more space, or else they would have to stay in an inn. The boys set to work. Heihachi decided that nothing had changed. After a second of regret, Heihachi realized something. It looks like they have succeeded. They could convert gacha items into points and then use those points. One room costs 1,000 points, which surprised him. In that case, one room would cost either 10 super rare or 100 rare gacha items. Estelle offered to give it a try. Norl was looking forward to it. Heihachi decided to just convert it for now, and it did work. A door appeared in front of them, and Norl decided to take a look. She cheerfully reported that the room was built. It looks like a house from the former Heihachi world. Norl is going to take a look outside. The girl did not detect any exterior changes. The boy didn't understand how this room could exist then. Estelle assumed that they were in another dimension. Shisuha noticed that expanding only the inside was convenient. That made Heihachi a little scared. There is no change on the outside, and they can enlarge the building inside, unnoticed by others. Then for now, they will use this house as a base. The construction of the base has begun with the expansion of the house. They set up all the furniture and the expansion is finished. The guy asked if there was anything else they needed. The girls conferred. If he could, they wanted a bathroom. There's only a shower in this house, right? After introducing the girls, Heihachi would like to try it too. Then he made the decision to make a bathroom. The girls enthusiastically went there together. Expanding the house was their best idea. Estelle thought about it, but she didn't expect Norl would wear an eye cup even in the bathroom. The girl replied that it's different here. She takes it off when she is alone. They realized that she was shy even of them. Norl doesn't mind being alone, but Estelle suggested that they just take off the blindfold and see for themselves. Heihachi didn't realize that the expansion required a lot of items. Need to check the inventory. The girls felt great after their bath. Estelle motioned for the guy to come in. It's so comfortable here, they'd like to expand the space even more. Norl complimented that they needed to do more spinning to do that. Heihachi grabbed her hand and said he was very surprised. He never thought he would hear Norl say that he wanted to do more twists. She finally understands how he feels, but the girl didn't say she understands. He thinks she shouldn't be so shy. True, he'll have to live up to their expectations and find a better place to hunt. Shisuha liked that idea. Estelle remarked that it wasn't so bad to prank every now and then. She threatened what would happen if things suddenly got out of hand for the umpteenth time. Heihachi received the notice. It said a new event was coming out. It's a special quest. Guy offered to take a look at it. The girls realized that it was a map of the area. And of course, somewhere in this area something will definitely go wrong. It should be obvious from the map. Moreover, this event is taking place now. There are 2 days left. And of course, somewhere in this area something will definitely go wrong. The girls didn't know what the event would be. Estelle hoped that Heihachi wouldn't do anything reckless. It's true that they don't know what dangers await them. But such a good event they can't leave out. Today, the 2 adventurers need to kill 10 goblins. One of them suggests that they just get it over with. But the forest seems too strange today, and the man's comrade reassured him. The goblins finally come out, time to start fighting. The adventurers never manage to prevail in it. Brun's Adventurers Guild. The receptionist asked Mr. Guren to be careful. At that moment the man was called. He did not expect to meet Okura again. From the story, he learned that the guy was now living here. And now they have a mage and a priestess on their team. Moreover, where did he find such a beautiful woman? Heihachi replied that they had just gotten to know each other. Guy would like to ask him some questions. Had he noticed anything unusual lately? Whatever it was good to tell him. Guren asked if it could be related to the strange goblin. This was the first time Heihachi had heard of him. These goblins use swords, bows, and other weapons. The man had heard that they had been attacking adventurers lately. Okura had better stay away from the goblin forest too. The guy realized that this was definitely the right place. Just like in the phone, this is definitely a mutation quest. The guys fly to the goblin forest as they are going to find out what's up. Shisuha notices that Heihachi has been surprisingly helpful lately, trying to solve these problems. Norl said that he seems to be in a hurry. Guy explained that it seems that a batch of B-Rang has already been sent there to investigate. If another participant completed it before Heihachi, he wouldn't get the reward. Norl replied that she wanted to receive the reward, but there was a nuance. Shisuha wondered how greedy he was. The guy replied that he just wasn't willing to act out of fairness. But that is not something he should say out loud. Goblin Forest. When they came to this forest, it reminded Norl of that time. Heihachi regretted that time. Shisuha was glad that it felt like an adventure. Estelle just hates that there are bugs everywhere. So far, there's no sign of the goblin. Norl was beginning to doubt that he really existed. Estelle assumed that this wasn't the right forest. Heihachi saw that it was following them, keeping its distance. But when he looks over there, there is nothing there. At this time, a goblin was already aiming at them. Heihachi warned Estelle of the danger. He pushed the girl away from the arrow just in time. She thanked him for it. Shisuha discovered another goblin who was using a sword. Looks like they really do exist. Turning to the phone, Heihachi saw them running away. I wonder if they are running to their lair. Heihachi doesn't know that, but if they follow them, they might be able to find out. The boys decide to follow them. They got to the pit. Heihachi is getting a lot of signals here. He thinks they ran in here. The pit is deep and looked creepy. Heihachi suggested climbing inside. Someone was already watching them from afar. They used a high-quality lamp to light the way. Shisuha wondered how the hole was made. Norl is afraid that it might collapse at any moment. Out of the darkness, the goblins attacked them again. The boys were doing fine against them until one time. One of the monsters used a magic attack. No one suspected the existence of even a magic user. They assumed that these guys belonged to the black goblin species. Heihachi senses the magic stone coming. They will hunt them all down. Killing them was so easy. The defense of the level is too great. The guy was pleased by the staggering effectiveness of this. The goblin mage rushed to escape, and the team went after him. The boys found themselves in a strange place. Norl noticed that these walls looked like a dungeon. They lost sight of the goblins and thought it was a dead end when suddenly a magical goblin activated something. A strange aura appeared around the team. Immediately afterward, they suddenly disappeared, which the monsters were very happy about. The moment of rejoicing didn't last long, for a stranger killed them in no time. He did not think that such a thing was possible. A guy who has the power of Gacha like him is the god's chosen one. Immediately after teleporting, the boys plopped down on the floor. Shisuha fell right on top of Heihachi and immediately didn't realize anything. After the realization, the terribly embarrassed girl pulled away from him. The boy thought he was going to die. Shisuha suggested forgetting about it. I wonder where they are. Heihachi realized that Norl and Estelle were not with them. They seemed to have missed each other. He didn't know what they should do. The idea of putting up a beacon and summoning them came to the boy, but he had nothing left. Right afterward, he remembered a transceiver that could be used to communicate even when they were far apart. The voice of the answering machine came on, informing him that the number he had dialed was out of range or currently unattended. Norl tried to reassure him. She was sure they were both alright. They are talking about Norl-san and Estelle-san. aren't they? Heihachi agreed with her. He apologized for getting so carried away. In any case, the girl offered to start the search. She would protect Okiru-san. Norl called out to the guys in a panic. Who would have thought that they would split up? The transceiver also fails to connect. They must find them as soon as possible. Heihachi often gets into trouble, so Estelle is worried. The girls heard a strange sound. A huge boulder was rolling right at them. Shisa finally got into shape. Heihachi noticed that it was completely different without Norl and Estelle's buff. The guy seems unsure of himself, but he fights well. Heihachi doesn't think he is. Shisa realized that this kind of thinking prevents him from being more confident. She imagined him saying that he would defend her. At least she wanted him to say something like that. But the guy knew that Shisa was stronger than him. Shisa replied that she too was a girl and wanted to hear those words too. Precisely because Okura-san is like that. He is a virgin, which made him feel awkward. He asked to stop talking nonsense and continue on his way. Heihachi, hearing a sound, turned toward the dark corridor. Something is approaching from there. He didn't expect to see a person here. This man seems a little suspicious. He doesn't look like a demon, though he might be a B-rank adventurer who has accepted an assignment to investigate. Heihachi leaned toward that. He reported that they were also investigating this dungeon. The unfamiliar fellow replied that he was offering this mask pierced by the abyss to the logos. Heihachi did not understand what he meant. Resting in the abyss of Pandora's treasure. With the power of the demon eye, he would obtain it, all to create a legion of God. He will bring ruinous darkness upon the souls of sinners. Inferior beings will be victimized and disappear. Heihachi still couldn't understand what this guy was talking about. He was worried about the Norl group and suggested that he continue. Shisa agreed with him. The guys apologized to him. They have something to do. The stranger practically destroyed Heihachi's body with magic. Shisa quickly restored him. He's fine, but what's wrong with this guy? The girl soaked up a lot of anger towards him. She told Okura to rest here. Heihachi was worried, for the stranger was definitely not an adventurer. Shisa resolutely rushed to the attack, but someone's sword prevented her from approaching the boy. He was defended by a girl who seemed familiar to Heihachi. The girl said she was worried when the master acted alone. He replied that she was the one who had gotten off the right path. Heihachi advised Shisa to be careful. This woman is not an ordinary person. He explained that she was from the girl's corps. Gacha is a character like Shisa. Goblins roam the dungeon in search of adventurers. Monsters were everywhere, and the girls did a great job of dealing with them. The girls had to run from a boulder rolling right behind them. Shisa realized that Heihachi knew her. This is Sylvie Rock, an ultra-rare character in the female corps. He doesn't know how much he spent trying to draw out Sylvie. The guy asked not to be asked if he got her. But since the stranger is with Sylvie, he is just like Heihachi, the GC game that used the invitation to come to this world. He realized what his purpose was. Heihachi declared his certainty that he too had set his sights on the magic stones and was going to snag them for himself. The guy replied that the Ands of the Genesis Guild opens up the entire Arcadia to him. This is the truth. In other words, not only in this labyrinth has it already been established that all the treasures of the world belong to the master. That's why Sylvie will get rid of them. Heihachi stated that something like that is not something that they can decide for everyone. The stranger was going to kill him on this very spot. Heihachi instantly dodged the blow, as if he would let him shoot. At this time both girls converged. Shisa decided to be her opponent. The boy now helped Heihachi a lot. This time it was his turn, but the stranger easily picked him up and threw him up. Heihachi was surprised by his strength. Wasn't he a magician? But that wasn't the end of the opponent. Both girls were already actively fighting. Shisa recognized that Sylvie was pretty good, but since she's a clergywoman, she can't be defeated so easily. So the girl decided that she would just chop her until she ran out of magical power. Heihachi saw that this guy was definitely using Gacha items. If that was the case, then he could also. He strengthened his attack with the wind bracelet, but even that didn't hurt his opponent. It was time. The guy had already finished setting up his territory. Heihachi didn't even realize when he had time. There was an explosion. Shisa was afraid for Okiru. Sylvie realized that the magical power of two people had been involved. Norl and Estelle finally escaped the cobblestone. It was surprising that there was such a trap. Estelle thanked Norl. It was a terrible trap. Even so, Norl seems to think they got in pretty deep. Estelle was worried about Okura's group. Norl is sure they are fine. Shisa and Sylvie were still fighting. A large spark leaked from the wall. Heihachi was worried about Shisa. The guy realized that although he wasn't strong, he couldn't help but protect her. Heihachi was relieved to find that she was fine. The girl was fine because she had already healed herself. Some of her clothes on her chest were torn, and he didn't even know where to look. The stranger marveled at what a muscular head he had with unlimited stamina. He orders Sylvie in his own name to remove his restrainer. The boys realized they were up to something and needed to be vigilant. Something strange was coming, and it was nothing like her ability. Something huge broke through the wall. The boys couldn't figure out what it was. Heihachi didn't understand how something like this could end up in a goblin maze. Shisuha turned the boys' attention to the main body. Heihachi didn't expect it to turn out to be a goblin. The hippopotamus is too overwhelming. He stated that now was not the time to fight and offered to defeat it together. The stranger ignored his offer. He decided it was time to unleash. The punishment is phenomenal. The boys were left alone. Heihachi was outraged that they had run away. It turns out that this guy has an attack of 4,500. That's 1.5 times more than Astaroth's. So the guys also decided to run away. It shouldn't be able to chase them. They're exhausted because of the fight. This isn't the time for a battle. Besides, since it's so huge, the monster easily crushed everything in its path. Heihachi wanted to know how long it would follow them. Shisuha realized that they obviously had to defeat it. The hippo's defense is 9,000. Even if they fight, it won't work without magic. If Heihachi were to aim at the goblin itself, no, even if the hippopotamus can't be defeated. But a single wind bracelet wouldn't have enough firepower. Heihachi didn't hit even once. Shisuha asked him to aim more accurately. The girls heard a loud noise coming from there. It might be Okuradono, so they went there. The monster lost sight of the boys. Heihachi didn't like his persistence. How much longer was he going to follow them? Shisuha was also already exhausted. Heihachi wondered if he wasn't being protected all the time. What should he do if he couldn't protect them? The guy was trying to find a way out of this situation. He made a decision to distract him, so he wants Shisuha to blast the goblin with magic dynamite during this time. The guy explained that if she throws everything at the monster while he is distracted, they will be able to defeat it. The girl was worried if he would be okay after his attack. Heihachi was sure that he wouldn't die immediately after one hit. But this time, he would defend Shisuhu. The girl was embarrassed by those words. The boy, feeling embarrassed, replied that he had just said the words she wanted to hear. The girl did not expect him to actually say those words. Heihachi leaves Shisuha with dynamite. He said about distracting the monster. The guy struggled to hold back the hippo's powerful paw and asked Shisuha to act faster. The girl handed the goblin a gift for chasing them on their heels. She shoved magic dynamite down his throat. There was a big explosion. Heihachi realized it was over. Shisuha wondered why he was doing something so dangerous. The girl demanded an explanation. The guy explained that there was no other way. But even so, Shisuha realized that it was a dangerous plan. The girls were able to find them by sound. For something like this to happen, it seems that he too had had a similar experience. But thank God, it's alright. Estelle noticed that no matter what, even Shisuka had a hard time. Norl asked who the two men were. Shisuha doesn't know, but they were talking about treasure. Heihachi received notice. A great deal of tension appeared on his face. It stated that the quest had failed, which he couldn't believe. Since the other player had cleared the event, the anomaly in the goblin maze had ended. The same guy was insanely happy that they had taken another step towards reviving the Legion. It seems that the anomaly quest ends when someone completes the quest. Shisu wondered if that meant those people had completed the quest. Heihachi stated that the next time they meet, he will not let those guys get away with it. He will do more quests and amplify more items. There will be a better team that will blow them all away. Norl noticed that's what the bad guys say. In the end, the abnormal quest ended in failure. Heihachi didn't get anything. He began to wonder where these guys had come from. That guy with the smartphone they met in the maze. He remembered Sylvie saying that all the treasures in the world belong to the master. Heihachi has no idea what their goals are, but perhaps they will get in their way again. Even with the fact that he got hurt fighting the hippopotamus, they took all the treasures. What pisses him off the most is that he knocked out Sylvie when Heihachi didn't. Thinking about it pisses him off. In this mood, he wants to roleplay Gacha. The guy heard a notification sound. He assumed it was an event that started on time. The girls noticed that Okuradono was acting strange again. Estelle asked what it was this time. He looks more annoyed than usual. Shisuha reads about the event from his phone. Norl didn't understand why he had such a serious face because of the gacha. The guy explained himself by saying that it is a complete gacha. Only by getting all the special items on the list can you get a rare prize. That's what a full gacha is. Something happened in the world of Heihachi, because of which the government had to intervene. That's how terrifying full gacha is. He had tried it once long ago too. No matter how many times the guy tried, only the same items fell out to him. Even using the magic card led to more problems. In the end, he even spent his food budget. The guy couldn't think about bean pods anymore. Shizuka really didn't fully understand. but it still sounds like a delicious gacha. If it was that bad, Estelle suggested just not participating. Heihachi wanted to do so, but this timing is just unbelievable for Luna-chan's appearance. Luna-chan was the character he was trying to get before he was transported to this world. Luna-chan would be the reward. He wouldn't miss such an event, which didn't really cheer Norl up. This time they have 9,000 magic stones. They can make 15 rolls x11. Heihachi decided that Shisuha would be the first one. He expects a lot from her. The guy was sure that he would definitely meet Luna-chan this time. For the first attempt, Shisuha didn't knock out the right items. The girl was very frustrated. Isn't that the level of failure like Okuridono's? The boy replied that even he had better luck. The girl saw that similar attitudes lead to similar results. For her second attempt, Estelle knocked out one required item. On the third, Norl got 2 required items. Heihachi was surprised by this, and he called Norl incredible. Shisuha wanted her to share her good fortune and drink tea from the mud from her feet. To think that they had already gotten the 3 items they needed. This would be easier than Heihachi thought. Estelle replied that he was worrying about nothing. So, they had 2 items left to knock out, a super rare item and a super rare rank. Their results are much higher than expected, and there hasn't been a single take yet. Could it be that that world is one big divine luck item? And what's more, Moffat also deglossed the necessary object on 4 attempts. Being very lucky, Heihachi was overdoing it in praising the rabbit. The guy got a flick for forbidden caresses of this kind. All that's left is a super rare room me measurements. Finally, it's Heihachi's turn. To get 1 item, he can do 4x11 twists. The guy was confident that this was a win. Initially, it wasn't difficult. Since it was so easy, he should finish the Heihachi carnival. But the guy only received a flaming glove, which Shisuha felt was definitely a necessary item. Estelle remembered that they had just whipped out the exact same one. Norl did not expect that the same item could fall more than once. Heihachi knew that. There are duplicates. Getting a replay after they had gotten this far. Isn't that divine twists without takes? No, he still has 3 tries. He'll be able to degenerate this item. On his second attempt, he got a repeat. The third attempt turned out to be the same. They were just lucky there had been no takes before. Estelle realized why her brother was so scared. Heihachi already thought someone had switched the odds. Is it possible for him to degenerate this item by dodging repetitions for 1 more try? The guy was afraid that he wouldn't meet Luna-chan even in this world. But even so, he wasn't going to give up. The guys had gotten a guaranteed super rare item. They were hoping for the exit of the last remaining room outside the dimensions. As suddenly, after receiving a completely different item, there was silence. Heihachi, having come to a frenzy, didn't understand why he was wrong. Why was it the wrong item? Norl told him that he had run out of magic stones, but the guy asked to be let go. Okura-sen seems to be having a temper tantrum. Heihachi suggested starting a strategy meeting. The girls decided it was over since they had run out of magic stones. Heihachi realized this, but the event would last another 5 days. They could still spin. The guy decided that they would spend the remaining 5 days to earn as many magic stones as possible. Norl, wary, suggested it would be better to give up, but he was sure that after spending so many stones, they couldn't give up. The girl asked if he was not satisfied after so much spinning. She doesn't want to do any more marathons. Heihachi reassured her. They have all learned that lesson. He has a plan. This time they will ask for help. Today they will be in their care, as well as they will tally for them. The boys' names are Illumino and Camille. He told Green he needed help. These are the rookie adventurers he's keeping an eye on. He's a real savior for Heihachi. Even so, it's an unusual request. Black orcs won't be a problem for someone like him. With an awkward laugh, the guy replied that they had their own circumstances. Heihachi suggested asking Green-san. The only way to increase their efficiency is to increase the number of people. But they won't get magic stones if someone hunts with them. They tested this with Daos's team. In that case, they won't be able to scrutinize for a while. If everyone was against it, Heihachi suggested doing it as usual. But Norl recognized it as a great idea and suggested asking Green-san. The place they were going to hunt looked creepy. This is a nest of monsters. If they fight here, who knows how many will appear? Heihachi explained that it was fine. No matter how many came, the knight would deal with them quickly. They would start counting when the black orcs appeared. Green will get his attention first and the guys will deal with him after. The man didn't expect his punch to be so strong. Heihachi explained that it was thanks to Estelle. Since she used supporting magic, they could fight without fear. Estelle knew that she was incredible. Heihachi observed that the number of magic stones never increased. As expected, it didn't work if more than one of them was hunting. Norl asked the guy to look at her ring. Camille had a guardian's ring on her finger, which shocked Heihachi. The girl explained that she had received it not too long ago. Is it something important? The boy replied that it wasn't. He didn't understand where she got this gacha equipment from. Suddenly a realization came to him. Heihachi decided to occupy some of their time. They should fight while wearing this. These things are enchanted by Estelle. They want to field test them. Green believed they were magical tools. Heihachi was surprised to think that they had something similar. They continued their hunt. He hoped to increase the number of magic stones. Green and Illumino did an excellent job of dealing with the monster, and the number of stones did increase. As time went on, there were more and more of them. And just like that, they found a new way to obtain magic stones. 4 days before the end of the full gacha, the real magic stone farming began. Heihachi's group continued to spin the gacha while farming magic stones. Green noticed that Okura looked unwell and worried about him. 2 more days. The magic stone farming is going well, but they still haven't gotten the last item. Even so, they will continue like this, they really can't. Heihachi was distracted from his musings by Norl, who informed him that he was obligated to save her. Something strange was happening to Estelle. The girl was going to burn down the forest and destroy a bunch of monsters at the same time. If she did that, would he be happy? The boy tried to calm her down, but Estelle realized that they had to destroy more. Heihachi asked Norl to carry her back. They would take care of the rest. After that, without Estelle, the last day of the hunt came to an end. The girl apologized to him. She wanted to help. He asked her not to worry. Heihachi is the only one who should apologize for not noticing. Now he offered to start. Today they earned 150 magic stones. That's 3 multi-twists. Let the 2 with the highest luck spin first. They'll let Norl and Moffat do it. Norl wished with all her heart that it would end, but it never worked out for them. Heihachi decided it was over. One more chance. If Norl and Moffat couldn't do it, who on earth could pull it off? That time when Norl said they needed to stop wasting twists. If they had listened to her then and stopped. Shisuha asked why they were all acting like it was over. Her optimism seemed strange to everyone. The girl reminded them that they had another chance. It's only one chance for Heihachi, but for her, it's another chance. There is one last multi-curl left. The guy decided that Shizuka should give it a try. Shizuka was surprised that he trusts something so important to her, but the guy really wants her to try. That's what his intuition tells him. The girl recalled that she could not get a single SSR. Heihachi wondered what happened to all her positivity. It's not like she's so weak-willed. Shisuha should show them the real herself. The girls didn't mind. It's a good idea. If it's Shisuha, she can do it. Estelle will have faith in her brother's intuition. Then the girl decided to do it. Shisuha is the only one who keeps calm in this desperate situation. Heihachi hoped that she could. If she doesn't beat her out, it will be their defeat. The silence was interrupted by Shisuha's voice. The boys finally got a room outside the dimensions and were very happy about their long-awaited good fortune. The next morning, Estelle, upon waking up, found Heihachi cleaning. For Luna's sake, he's been cleaning since he woke up. The house is simply unrecognizable. Shisuha asked him to stop cleaning. She suggested that he hurry up and summon Luna-san. But before that, Heihachi wanted to do one more thing. He thinks it's worth summoning her in her own room. They wouldn't be noticed if they did it inside the house. Now, it's time for the long-awaited summoning of the moon. Suddenly, an error appeared on the phone screen. They had hit the limit. Heihachi explained that if he used cost reduction, they would somehow fit. He began to think about who to use it on. It's okay if he uses it on Estelle. The girl thanked him, though the guy didn't understand why she was so happy. Shisuha marveled, watching the summoning for the first time. Luna-chan finally showed up. Heihachi rushed toward her, introducing himself. He introduced himself again, which startled her. The guy was upset that despite his efforts, she called him intimidating. Estelle and Norl also introduced themselves. Luna Vards also introduced herself. Norl hoped they would get along. Luna asks Heihachi what's wrong with the woman. She stares at her with that strange look. The guy hints to Shizuha that she's acting weird. She's just hoping to get closer to Luna-san. Luna, sensing the dislike, pushed her away and forbade her from approaching her. Heihachi didn't understand why she was like that. Luna declared that Shisuha was her enemy. But Shisuha hadn't done anything wrong to Luna-san that the latter wasn't even going to listen. Heihachi still couldn't understand her. He tried to reassure himself that it was normal to slowly improve the relationship. He suggested that they take a walk around Brun. But Luna refused. She would never go anywhere with Shizuka. Not to mention she doesn't want to walk in the light. Heihachi offered to go hunting. There's no sun in the caves. But she again firmly refused. The girl will leave the hunting to the guys as she doesn't like to fight. Heihachi figured she would do nothing, but that turned out not to be the case. While they are away, she will guard the house. Well, for now, she's going to sleep. and they should get out of here. The boys were shocked that she was going to stay in the house the whole time.